That's a
Advanced philosophy memes. We make good memes. Advanced philosophy memes. Base fucking memes. Advanced philosophy memes. We make good memes. Advanced philosophy memes. Base fucking memes. Shoutouts to Andreas, Deacon, my boy Scott, Pedro, and everyone else that engages on my posts. And Sarah, keep it up, man. You'll get there someday. And everyone else from Great Memes. Philosophy memes. Advanced philosophy memes. Base fucking memes.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to APM, Advanced Philosophy Memes. We're just waiting for Exertus to come back.
Oh shit, my kettle's whistling. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. And looks like we have another guest coming in, the Weed Lorax. I'll bring him in for Andreas.
Yo,
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to
too
APM.
much. The black screen is part of a protest that you guys missed out on. You're supposed to go change your profile picture, but I'll explain it later.
Oh, damn.
I'm kidding. But I'll be right with you guys. I'm gonna mute myself in the meantime.
Okay, sounds good. Andreas is just figuring out. There he is.
It's really hard. The internet hates me. I'm trying my best. I was walking down the street earlier today, and I noticed that everything looked like vanilla sky. But it's Vienna, so it's Vienna sky. How are you? You're exercising.
Doing well. Yeah, is it making a lot of noise?
No, it's cool though. I like to see that you're like walking towards a goal. It's like a Woody Allen movie from the 90s or something where they're just like walking down the street the whole time. It's great.
I hope you don't mind.
Kurt, what are you up to?
Do you want it to make a lot of noise though, or no? Sorry.
No.
We
I
figured
just-
you
I
had
have to-
issues this week.
I hurt my foot yesterday, so I have to exercise it. So I just hope it's not making noise. Otherwise, I'll cut
As
it
people
out.
that are super tech savvy, such as all yourselves, there's two types of spatial audio that you can do, and if you're walking forwards, you can have the audio kind of projected up and ahead of you, so it feels like if you're listening to like a podcast, it feels like you're walking up and towards that voice. So it keeps your posture better, as opposed to balancing it between the left and right channels. And then within
I'd
the
like to get
specific
you like
room
a green
too.
screen.
Yeah.
If we had a green screen behind Jordan, then we could just have footage of New York City or Paris, and he could just be walking through the world the whole time, and you could do monologues that way. I think that's like the indoor cat solution.
But and they did studies, and people were like 20% longer on their walks and exercise if they used the right sound stage, and it's just this subtle.
So how do you make that
psychological
setting, Lorax?
Well, again, I identify
Is
the
it
trends.
An
I
Apple
don't
thing,
make
or-
I don't make the trends like Xertus, but he also can like facilitate. I'm sure there's plenty of smart people connected in the network. I'm not the computer guy who would understand. I can describe it and tell you whether it's working or not.
Chris could
No, that's
answer
cool.
that.
I'll look into it. Oh yeah, maybe Chris could answer that. Let's try.
I know this
explain
guy.
it
I know
to
this guy
Chris.
Xertus. He's wicked smart. How do you like them apples?
Wicked smart. He's a smart guy.
What seems to be the
Kurt-
problem, fellas?
Lorax was bringing up a feature for audio I think he said that you can make, like, for example, if you're listening to a podcast or something, you can make the audio come from in front and above, so you're walking towards it. Does that sound like something that
Yes, and alternatively, if you were in an indoor space and you wanted to simulate a TV being on a wall, and the sound coming from that space, you can in fact have the image on, a computer screen, and every time you turn left or right, there's a motion sensor that keeps the audio balanced. So if you turn away from the wall where the TV is on now, it sounds like the sound's coming from behind you, even though the sound's coming from your headphones. And the problem is, if it's slightly off, you can get vertigo, and probably shouldn't operate heavy machinery while using that.
Vertigo.
great Hitchcock film. I'll stay away from that, maybe.
I was trying to explain Kurt to someone earlier, and I was like, Kurt is, a very masculine, like virile, like testosteronal male, and he didn't always used to be that way. He used to just be this like nice German boy from like Amish country, but then he went
Everybody
to
say hi,
Argentina.
Kurt. Hi, Kurt.
Hi, Kurt.
So I thought maybe Kurt, you might want to explain to us, like, how can we be a better man?
Nice.
Why? Thank you. I'll go ahead and explain to all the masses how to be more of a man. The first
chop off part of your penis and become a woman. I mean, no, sorry.
I mean, take
That's
advice
the
from
old
yoga
way.
poster. That's
The
step
old
one. Step two is you have to care about the people around you. That's the big alpha quality you can have. And I would also say do lots and lots of psychedelic mushrooms over the years. Just and I'm not even joking, because like I think it's not that I'm active. Like, you can put it down. You can put it down after a while, and that's fine. But there is something super regenerative about that in particular. Like you have to stay fit too, but something that definitely reignites your libido. It's kind of like,
you're saying mushrooms, not acid. You're saying specifically that your experience was having a positive reaction.
He got
to
mad
psilocybin.
horny on mushrooms, bro.
To
Exactly.
psilocybin. And because you got to be
Wild.
careful. Have you heard of the
Really?
Lilliputian?
I'm
The
not doing
Lilliputian
mushrooms with
out
you,
there?
man.
Yeah, no
Um,
kidding.
I'm sure
No,
the Lilliputian
so-
mushrooms. You got to make sure they're not those. But
So honestly, in my life, like I have not. Disclaimer: I have not converted to Judaism, but there are takeaways. And so, like, if you, I think if you follow, a lot of principles, particularly like money principles, like, yeah, the stereotype is greed. I'm not proposing be greedy. I'm saying they
Greed
have
is
systems
justice.
where essentially slow and steady wins the race. And
the question
you can-
are greed and altruism opposites? And if we
No.
didn't have
I mean,
some amount of greed and we were purely altruistic, as opposed to there's only a few other like bird species that will look after their cousin's nest if the cousin dies and doesn't come back from the scout run, and otherwise they usually like knock the birds out of the nest and start over.
That wasn't even the question.
No, he was trying to define the essence of mankind.
I liked where Kurt was going.
altruism.
Kurt started out with Albert Schweitzer, compassion for your fellow man. Went straight to Timothy Leary about his psychedelics making him more sexual.
It was greed. It was greed. And so is greed? Are greed and altruism polar opposites, or are they different parts of our brain anatomy? I don't know.
we can get deeply philosophical for a second if you don't mind. All right, so
I
I'll
mind
take
a
no
little bit.
answer as a good answer.
Yeah, you would, Chris.
A few philosophers, I guess. I haven't read their books or anything. I listen to podcasts about philosophy, so it's secondhand philosophy. But they say one of the problems with the human species is like we don't realize how much abundance there is. Like the world, there is so much abundance, and we constantly fight each other. Like we're so privileged that we fight each other over what's happening on the Magic TV box, like Super Bowl halftime show. Who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, how meaningless is that thing? So they say, like, we have no way to come together and make a mass sacrifice like we did in years past, and that's what
I
a
think
lot
we
of
could come
religions
together
did.
and sacrifice some.
Well, like that's kind of like the perverted aspect of that has kind of been like the political realm. We make sacrifices all the time, but nobody's really happy about it.
So what
but,
gave
like,
us the ability in the past that we've lost?
So,
What's an example of that?
Yeah, where is our greed? What is our greed against? Like, can we be greedy against nature and take things to hoard things?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of like
God. That's being greedy against God, and that's the devil's work.
no, not exactly. Not always. Like that can be an assumption, yes, and that can be a thing. But what is the point of garnering any wealth in a society, or what is the point?
Well, I know the cure.
Beans. Like, do you want to farm as many beans to dry them out so that you're protecting your people, or like it's like if you're going to have a society, if you accept the idea of society as a good thing, then being quote unquote greedy against nature isn't always going to bad thing.
Yeah, but the solution is so simple, man. It's such a simple solution. You can be greedy and things can turn out okay. You just got to remember to be fucking, what's the word, kids? Grateful, right?
Grateful.
Thankful.
Yeah.
Like just because you're grateful,
if you was a shepherd, it was your job to cull.
Just because you're grateful doesn't mean you're
how the
not.
water system works, and you make sure you're the only guy left living in the city you came from of 10,000 people eventually. No.
But yeah, so Chris is right.
South America.
Greed is the answer in a lot of ways to utilitarianism. It's out of greed that people do the right thing because there's a reward, a better reward.
Well, I'm just saying, look, if you're just because you're grateful doesn't mean you're not allowed to have more. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to want more. In fact, when you're grateful, it's like you have more gifts, because when you're thankful, every day becomes a gift. And that satisfies your greed because you're like, that's also like a self-fulfilling abundance, right? It's like, I don't have to be alive. I just want to be, and I am. So I'm grateful. That's like every day's a win.
Right? Because it's the present time. That's why it's a present.
It's a great point.
Grateful for the moment.
Oh my God.
This moment, I am down a desert road in the middle of Nevada desert, and I'm climbing a mountain at some point. I just got to make it to the mountain first.
Bernie.
What up?
Right. What up, yo?
I'm thankful for the desert.
You've been posting a lot from the West Coast, out on your nature hikes and stuff. It's like you're a real ass human being or something out there in the real world.
Right? Like, shit, this ain't no way on. This is the real world.
See, I took Bo Burnham's advice where you sacrifice your interaction with the real world in lieu of creating content in the much more real digital space where content is consumed on social media, right? Or maybe that's not the point of life.
This is the way, right there, right? This is the real world. Blown out tires, nowhere, anywhere around. Yeah, this is my trip through America. I'm gonna mute out though because it's pretty windy.
I think you should. I think you should make content just if you enjoy it. You should do it just because you enjoy it. I mean, other reasons that's fine. Like, oh, I wanna reach people. I wanna touch people. I wanna change, make an impact. So I don't know. I mean, if you legitimately enjoy doing it, then it's okay.
Bo Burnham's point was, regardless of whether you make good content or bad content or a lot of it, you should stop interacting with the real world to conserve as much energy as possible so that if you are going to expend energy, it's to create something again in the digital technosphere so that the basilisk can get as many data points on you as possible. And every single one of you has your camera uncovered on your phone, in your computer, when you're not using it. And there's a lot more data points. But at this point, I
have mine covered, but it's
zero
with a tiny little picture of my penis, so that if everyone were to zoom in,
fucking awesome.
That's how you do it.
No, I keep mine covered actually, my phone and my computer, even when I'm not using it.
Thank you. I go to the bar and I'm the only one there, and I say I must be the crazy one. But
yeah, I had to.
Like,
I'm actually. This episode's called Accelerationist Fatigue, and I've always been kind of an accelerationist. But the one time, because a lot of people ask me if there's anything I am concerned about technology. Kurt has asked me if I'm concerned about AI and technology at all, in the past. And you can tell I'm not usually, but I'll admit that the one time I was kind of concerned about technology, I was probably 9, 10 years old, maybe 11. And I'm in a Costco and I go into the bathroom and the urinal has an infrared sensor, which is a kind of camera aimed right at my penis as a child. in order that I don't have to flush it for myself. And that's when I realized society was
that's what they've been doing all these years. Okay, that's how they knew.
Everyone,
That's
everyone's
There's a
okay with
bunch of
that
bullet
convenience.
casings on the
September
ground.
11th
Should I be
was
afraid? I'm a Canadian.
no,
I'm not used to seeing bullet casings. Should I be afraid?
Oh
no,
my
but
Am I
God,
gonna
dude.
get
no,
Just be all.
shot?
I've been
It's all
on.
right, man.
I think
So
I've been
what
on
is
that
what's
exact
the overall
road
trajectory
before.
of the episode today, gentlemen? Are we gonna just talk over each
Well,
other and get 5 seconds? Or can we give people the stage for 2 minutes at a time? Or what are we, Zertis? What do you
I mean,
propose? Or do
I
you?
love.
So
If
I
you
say we
could
defer to
not,
Kurt. I say we defer to Kurt.
if you could seriously not talk for 2 minutes, I think you'd probably make money that way. I
Well,
don't
no,
know if
but
that's
again, it's not
possible.
listenable. Again, it fractures the audience's consciousness if everyone only talks for 10 seconds because they don't want to be somehow rude and actually speak in like 3 paragraphs. And like, again, like I have a New Year's resolution thing that I wrote that's like only 20 lines, but that would be absurd to take up 45 seconds. Who do I think? Look how many people are on stream, but like, I'll wait till the end, you know?
No, if
I
you want
just,
to read that, let me tell my story about Nevada first. I've been on this road that you're walking down, Neo. I know where it leads, and I've driven it actually in a car, which is the craziest thing because I thought it would save me some time one time to avoid the major highway because it was filled with burners on their way to Burning Man. Now, what you'll find along the way are not only bullet shells, but any sign that you might look for will probably have itself shot clean through. It should be illegible.
Many bullet holes.
Yeah, and that's I think really Native Americans and tech and just kind of Nevadans with guns like this is a safe place to go aim and to take out.
you don't think
with.
that's like graffiti on mailboxes? You don't think that's a way that
I
certain
think it's
people signal to
exactly
each
like
other?
Canada, the natives, they do the
It's on
same.
purpose.
You go to the native reserve to go firing, and you see all the
Bernie is
signs.
way
They're shot
overclocked.
up.
Oh my god, dude. I mean, okay, sorry.
All right, we're in the middle of nowhere. We good. If you never hear from me again, send search and rescue to somewhere in buttfuck Nevada, and hopefully you'll find me in 10 years.
I'll be on that as
All
soon as it
right.
happens.
Gotcha.
In
So
10 years,
you
there will
want-
actually be a place called Buttfuck Nevada. Like,
Did you want to read something? Is that what you were trying to imply?
A manifesto.
I mean, sure. I think it'd be a good tone setter. And again, because I know other people on the
Set
stream
my tone,
have
baby.
long, coherent thoughts.
Set the key.
This is
I have
about
an
saying
idea.
goodbye.
I'll make you a deal. I'll let you read it, but I'd like you to let Jordan speak for 2 minutes as an emotional and maturity test. If Jordan can speak for 2 full minutes, I'm going to start the timer at the beep, and then after that, it'll be your turn. What do you think? Sound like a plan? Anybody like this?
Sounds about right.
All right. So on the
I'm just
count
happy
of
to be here.
3, 2, 1, Jordan, talk for 2 minutes.
Well, sorry, man, you didn't finish giving.
I know,
the topic.
right? Wasn't that rude? That was
Sorry.
just like completely.
Sorry,
crazy.
I don't know what to talk about. I don't want to.
Well, I mean, you've been doing a lot of shows.
I can talk for 2 minutes anytime, but I'm gonna shut up because I'm running out of cell service. I love you guys. I'll rejoin later when I'm on top of a mountain. Much love,
All
my
right.
friends.
Fair enough. Love you. Okay, so wait. I called this episode "Accelerationist Fatigue." So there's a lot of sacrifices we're making to make the world progress towards a goal. Is anybody tired? Anybody feeling exhausted? And then Jordan, maybe you have some thoughts on how the world has changed so much since you were a child and where it's headed. Like, where are you seeing us accelerate towards a future? And are you fatigued? Or whatever. That was just my thought.
Sure.
Also, Sparrow, we love you, Sparrow.
Oh, nice.
You're
Sparrow,
amazing.
shout out.
Yeah, Sparrow knows that Jordan's not going to get his full 2 minutes, but
We'll
that's because
try.
he's too polite. We'll try.
All good.
Exactly.
I guess to answer the first part, since growing up from being a kid, I feel like there's more hate and more toxicity out there, but I think that obviously like probably 90% of that would be like social media and just all the extra platforms of communication out there. So you just see it a lot more as opposed to, back in the day, I'd like go to school, talk with my friends, play video games, eat, whatever, go to sleep, yada, yada, yada. But now it's like, especially if you like do a podcast or you're interested in what's going on in the world, you feel like sometimes compelled to always be checking what's going on. And you see a lot of violence, a lot of wild stuff that like probably wouldn't fly back in the day. But now that the Biden administration sandwiched in between the two Trump administrations has happened. It's just I think it's just created so much, and of course I don't think the leaving off of Obama helped. So I don't know. I think it's just going in a bad direction. That's what I feel. And yeah, I do feel kind of fatigued by it. I feel like there's like so much other stuff I'd rather be like researching or talking about, but sometimes I feel compelled to like put focus on stuff that is happening like that day, that moment. And yeah, it can be really exhausting, especially like if you're people like us and you can kind of spot the fractures in the facade and what's actually going on behind the veil. Yeah, you get frustrated, you get fatigued, you get tired. And I mean, that's why it's nice to have like friends like you guys.
I got a secondary to ask to that, actually. The second part of that is, how do you know who to listen to? And because I hear, you've had
no
some
idea,
episodes
man.
recently.
That's what I'm trying to find out. That's like that's kind of Chris mentioned like doing a podcast and for what reason. And one of them he mentioned was to enjoy it, I think. And that's a huge reason, to enjoy it and learn, meet new people, but also to learn about who you can listen to, who you can trust, who you should be listening to, what to be watching out for. So it's a huge question, right? Especially when you have this new alternative media that's just exploded in the last, I guess you can say, decade. And now you have people like Candace Owens, Andrew Tate, Tucker Carlson, Shapiro, Nick Fuentes, even like people like Piers Morgan or stuff like that. And they have these huge $100,000 to $1 million platforms. But they revamp it to be like, a garage podcast or something like we're doing, purporting to tell the truth and be on the side of the people, in between all the paid ads for the products that they say are good, but are just actually usually just as
so. Like, for
like,
instance, Tucker Carlson. Again, I buy the premise. How does he have an expensive? How does he not just have a YouTube channel? I'm just interested. The paradigm, I think, has like totally shifted. Even Alex Jones, he's not allowed on YouTube, and he has his own studios.
That was about 2
So you're
minutes.
saying just the production value of the set itself, or?
Well, that's a big part of it for sure.
And
and he has advertisers, and people can pump out. Yeah.
And all these people are walking into these positions, essentially leaving other big positions, like in news, for example, and they take that following with them. And I think
nobody listens to podcasts anymore, dude. All the views are fake. Every major podcast has like 8 real fans. Like Xertus has more actual real fans than like some big podcasts.
I don't know. I think Xertus has a few more than that, but
well, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm saying
that's who knows who's real anymore.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know. I mean, we have. I definitely. I guess. Yeah. No, I would ask another part, Jordan. Actually, there's a little bit more to that.
Oh, go ahead.
Like, because the question I asked earlier about like who can you trust and who can you listen to, you've had some episodes recently I've been watching. They've been on the Xertus. Some people were super stoked on some of the episodes you've had. Some people were super upset about certain people. They thought like some of these guys were like whistleblowers who knew what was up. Others thought some guys were disinformation, psyop agents. Obviously you're down to talk to either, because you can let someone reveal the truth or the lie by listening to them. But what do you think how do you feel about interacting with people that you don't know whether they're trying to lead you the right direction or if they're trying to lead you astray?
I actually had this conversation last night, a little bit. And I mean, I'm still like a rookie to this. So like when it comes to like podcasting, sorry.
You said you had the conversation last night. I just wasn't there. Was it with a group of people?
No,
or I was just trying to get context.
No, I had a conversation with someone else.
Or ChatGPT again. There's all types of options at this point. Was it
flesh and blood? It's not relevant. We'll allow him.
Another human being.
He doesn't have to tell us. He doesn't have to dox the person he was talking to. But yeah,
with another human being.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question now, man?
Oh my God! So if you can trust,
Sorry,
how
dude,
do you know who to trust? Yeah, I know it's hard, man.
Oh,
sorry.
for people that
See, this
come
is
on,
the
for,
test.
okay,
This was the
so
test.
people that come on. Sorry to interrupt, but people that come on and whether I know or not if they're kind of leading me in the right direction or a wrong direction on purpose. That was your question, I think.
Or
right?
trying to lead you astray. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Try to take everything at face value. I mean, you can't. I don't necessarily like the idea of bringing only people on that you agree with. So if someone's going to come on and lead me astray, I mean, I would hope that I would do some research and maybe ask around to get confirmations if it's something very significant, if I don't know about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge issue, right? I'm sure that you having a larger platform, you face that yourself. So yeah, it's something I'm definitely kind of learning to run with. I don't know what I actually would love to hear your thoughts on that, Andreas, being more of a.
I mean, it's really hard, obviously, because I think when, some people were really upset at me in my past for having people on that have been clearly shills for the Illuminati on one level or another. And I figure that's like the most important people to bring on, is the way I look at it. People can be upset at me for trying to show people lying, but, you gotta capture a lie in a recording. Like, that's the best way, especially because time will tell. The more that you see the way a person act, the more track record you have. Eventually, you know me, which is really interesting. So many people know me because they know how many videos I've made about whatever. They know whether I'm, authentic or if I were not authentic, and I think that's the main thing with the disinformation agent. You have to present their information in such a way that you're shit testing them publicly in order to record that. So you
see, none of you guys are sports fans, but Sports Network all day, you have guys that are quote unquote lying, saying my team is.
Yo, when did I say? Wait. When did I say I wasn't a sports fan?
One of them's wrong.
I like
every day.
sports.
Every day, half the people are fucking ready, and you move on to the next day. I feel like people are trying to create this AI simulation where they're eventually going to have a computer system that is good enough to predict the future, and then they're going to rely on it when the message is supposed to be over and over and over again that. No matter how good the computer system is, don't trust it.
William Dubs is right. Andreas has 127K. Russell Brand has 6.72 million. Suspicious, ain't it? I don't know. What can I say? Maybe Russell Brand makes better content.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's just like I was saying. Like, he was a big actor, right? And now he takes the helm of a podcaster and he says, "You should listen to what I have to say, because I'm going to tell you the truth." And he already has that following, right? So,
but you're saying that like it's a dangerous thing. It's like, I'm a Red Sox fan. If I listen to his broadcast, I might start rooting for them or like learn more about their team or organization and why they have success over.
Hey, hold on. Breathe. You. Okay, and then Jordan, you explain what you were trying to answer.
I mean, it could be dangerous. I'm just saying. I guess my original point was just talking about the influx of quote unquote alternative media people that have come from a high role already, and then they're taking this role as someone that, oh, I'm just a podcaster, I'm not bought, I'm not corrupt, you can absolutely trust me. That's all I was saying. And yeah, that can be dangerous.
Yeah, pretty shady a lot of the time, for sure. Yeah.
99% of the people, if they don't agree with 100% of what the person says, they find one of any other 500 people's channels to watch until they hear one thing that the person has that they disagree with, and then they, after 2 years, and then they move to another podcast. But that's not a realistic way. I think Andreas described his belief set as kind of more multivariate.
I get scared when everyone starts believing what I believe. At first, I try to take a controversial opinion so I can flush it out. And then once you get enough people convinced of it, that it's a strong enough and solid enough opinion that it's a hypothesis, it could be proof, could even be true. That's
not just performative to be funny. You're saying as like a survival technique in large groups of people, what you do is you throw out the like inappropriate joke. Like, the way ICE is treating Mexicans, it's unacceptable. They're treating them like they're Jews or something, And then you see how people react, and then you learn how to drift towards the people that you're trying to Interact
That's a
with that
really,
therapist.
really specific example, but you could totally do something like that, because then what you do is you throw out all of the people who agree with you, which is the opposite of how to grow your following, probably. I don't know. It seems like that just galvanizes people against each other. But at least you can look for someone who will, if everyone starts agreeing with you, that's a dangerous place, because you can't grow in that. You can only become more affirmed in that. That's what you do if you're like in a self-help program with like a drug addict group. You like affirm each other. No, what we should be doing is finding people that disagree, so that they have, you want to have hundreds of people in a Jezebel debate around you or something like that as a format, so that you constantly are getting
Jubilee, not Jezebel.
Yeah, sorry. Weird Freudian slip. I don't know what that was.
See, at least someone's paying attention.
I caught that. All right. I just gave my little smirk. I was like, huh.
Yeah, thank God someone is.
But then you get 100 people who would disagree with you again, which is, you need at least that, so that you can have 100 holes drilled into your plan, right? You want to have every attack possible on your ideas. That's the goal, so that you have better ideas. So
wait, that's not how you guys already structure your opinions and beliefs. Is you interrogate the shit out of the things that you think are obvious until, and the more people you interact with, right. You're gonna get.
So Winston Churchill used to stand in front of the mirror every morning, and he would argue with himself. People said it looked like he was Gollum arguing with him, like the devil, just in the mirror, was just yelling at him, because he wanted to have any possible criticism or attack on his personhood that he could ever hear prepared, and to retort, to already have a million retorts to anything anyone could ever say to him that was rude. And a lot of British people have a lot of creative ways of being kind of rude. So he would look at himself and make fun of his nose, or make fun of his hair, or, often make fun of his politics, right? And that was the thing. I think at one point a woman said, "Frankly, Mr. Churchill, I'm not sure which I dislike more. I have a greater distaste for your politics or your mustache." And then Churchill said, "Well, luckily for me and for you, perhaps, you will probably never come in contact with either," right? So he could do this at any moment, because he knew how people were going to attack him, because he would attack himself.
I think that's a scary way to do that.
Yeah,
I think there's healthier ways to do that. Like if you try to approach mastery, you get the same effect. Like I don't know, it could be martial arts, it could be a craft, it could be writing, it could be woodworking, whatever it is. And you tell yourself, I want to become like better than I could possibly imagine at this. And then on the way to that, you realize, you start criticizing yourself. You're like, wow, I'm a piece of shit. And you start criticizing yourself in weird ways. Like you could be trying to use
I statements, that's what my
you could try to, you could be trying to paint, and you could be like, what the fuck? Like, what am I doing? I suck at this. I have my stupid tattoos and my stupid mustache. Who the fuck am I? Like, do I think I'm an artist?
Hear yourself saying that to yourself? I'm sorry.
I think everybody, like anyone who really tries to like devote their life to a craft, they all go through this phase. I think there's this I think there's a feeling of like
Stefan, I know you've gone through that. I talked to you about. There's certain things in your life, you've even brought it up on the show, where you did this about your own hair to yourself. People do this to themselves over whatever. It doesn't have to be about tattoos. But it's interesting the way Terrorisk is presenting it as you statements, because you will often hear, more often you will hear a social attack on yourself. You're such an idiot. You're such a fool. As opposed to, I'm such an idiot. I'm such a fool. That's a stronger avocation.
And the reason it's a psychological projection into the universal you. And it's not true that everyone has negative self-talk. And outside of me, whether me as a fucking self-hating neurotic Jew also can relate to this idea of having like an inner drill sergeant.
I mean, I'm not focusing on, I'm not focusing on the talk. You're right. That was kind of like rhetorical. Like what I really meant, what I really meant was like that feeling of like, you suck. It's coming to the feeling of like you weren't as good as you thought you were. Yeah, or criticism.
See, in yoga, it's just called the beginner mindset. You don't, and you have to keep it always. And as soon as you think you're good at something, that's when you like probably stop paying attention and get hurt. Or
so it's basically like an inner death over and over. Like
the joke is, in order to get good at something, you have to admit that you truly suck at it, so that you humble yourself to the process for long enough to get really good at it. But the only way you stay committed to it is by staying humble and convincing yourself that you really fucking suck at the thing that you're now actually really good at.
Yeah. But I'd call that a positive feedback loop ultimately, because you're using it to get better at something. And before you know it, like, this is when it gets dangerous. Like you realize you're better than most people at it. You get to that point, that's when you start having every reason to just relax, right? You're like, why the fuck do I give a shit? You can't do what I do. And then you start having less and less reasons to prove to others. So then what's left?
You. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, I mean,
No, but
like me.
I. But it's a value. Hear what I said earlier. When you say you, it's probably because someone projected it into you. When you say I, it's more. It's very rare when you have a negative I statement. They exist.
Well, all right.
But
I just don't want to make it. I just don't want to make it about me. But in my personal experience with, say, martial arts, I've been doing it for a fuck long time, and then I went through that shit all the time, over and over again, where I was like, damn, I'm pretty good at this, and then like I go back to doing something really simple, and I'll fuck it up, and I'm like, wow, I fucking suck. And like that's my personal iteration of this experience. Same with music. Like there were many points throughout like me like doing music for 17 years. I'm like, wow, I'm getting pretty good at this. And then it's like, wow, I really actually fucking suck. Like my shit's like when I try to play something out in a venue setting as opposed to just like my home speaker system. Like moments like that, that's kind of like an inner death in a way, so that the better you can be reborn, at least as the musician or the martial artist or just a human.
I like it.
I think
that was 48 seconds, and so you 2 slaps on the back of your left wrist and 1 on the back of the right wrist. And again, how dare you take up that amount of time? Because it's not like Andreas brings you on all the time, because people actually are interested in hearing about who you are. And again, it's like relatable, but you're actually doing the thing that everyone should be doing, which is podcasting from their headquarters and just like recording their conversations with their friends, either as like a way. Because if everyone does it, then otherwise they're just tracking the podcasters. Like they had like separate divisions of Crime Stoppers for the rappers and the hip hop industry, but like,
or like 3 Star Treks at the same time. Yeah.
Like if everyone's live casting all the time, there are in the barber shops, sometimes 3 or 4 of the guys will have a little suction cup, and there's someone in their family up, and there's just always hanging out with someone, oftentimes overseas. But there's no reason to be alone just because you're working or not connected.
Kurt, do you suck? What do you think? Are you able to say you suck or I suck to yourself, and which one would you say?
I would say that you suck, Andreas.
Thank you.
Yeah, just kidding. Just kidding. Skills. Chicks dig a dude that has skills, right? If you got skills, one thing I would say is that, yeah, sometimes it's like going back in time and you're like, oh, I don't have this skill, but I do have this skill. It's like, it's there. It's with you. It's a part of you. I will say it's like, if you view life as if you're like going down just like a water slide and everything's just like going really fast, but it's like the water slide itself is like kind of the experience, right? So
no, holding hands is the experience with you guys.
Well, for me, practice is the goal, and
I always get. I can never make my full point, and
sorry, you asked the question.
You asked a question. Oh, it was a rhetorical question, or it was a Socratic. Yeah, I got you. Okay, fine.
My bad.
Yeah,
I'll raise my hand next time.
Full points. I'll be done in about 2 or 3 hours. So, my little anecdote is like if I play an instrument for like a musical instrument, sometimes you do regress, but also they're still like the fire's still there, you know what I mean? Like it's easy to find the pathways. It's like you have to like unlock your memories because they were just like dormant for a while. So like you can spend so many hours and those hours make an impression on you, but the reality of life is that the reality around you is constantly changing. So it's like you have to have a cross reference. Yeah, you have to have a reference point to be able to retrieve those lost memories. And so it's like the skills you have, I don't think they're ever truly gone. But like we also live in a hyper competitive culture where like there's musicians say, oh, in order to be a valid or good musician, you have to practice 5 hours a day. And like I think that's totally crap. Like, no, you don't. You have to find a way of incorporating your life experiences into your artwork, and then the practice doesn't matter as much so long as you're like doing a good job of doing the first thing. That's the best anecdote I have. So I never think you truly lose a skill over time. It's just, well, the reality around you is changing, and what are you trying to focus on? And there is no right answer, I believe, for it could, because people are individuals. You're a soul, whatever. But obviously, I'm going to respect someone like Chris. He says, "Well, I'm going to dedicate 5 hours of my time to this." I'm not going to shit on that.
Oh, come on! I'm just a fucking asshole like everyone else, man.
Like
the guy walking.
pay-
You just need to get advice about who to listen to, and then trust everything that they say.
Exactly. That's the true path.
Good.
True path
As
to
long as we're all on the
enlightenment.
same page. And again,
Okay.
as long as the sheeple stay the sheeple and no one wakes up, then you just lay low for siesta, fiesta. It's a simple system. It doesn't have to be this 5 degrees of terrorist threat network or whatever.
I don't know, being like accelerationist, trying to get to a goal is brutal because you have to stop resting. You have to quit doing bad things all the time. And you have to say goodbye to the pleasantness of now in order to prepare for the future. And being a futurist is very different than being in the now. They really taught the boomers, be here now, at least the cool boomers. And now we're at a generation where we're afraid of what the future could bring if we don't prepare for a certain future. If you have a destinal future that you're leading towards, you know what's going to happen if you spend every day studying to be a samurai. You're probably going to be a samurai. If you spend every day smoking weed and drinking, you might just be the town drunk or another town drunk or dead.
That tells us there's a lot of power in routines and patterns, like patterns repeat, right? So if you devote yourself to a pattern, that's probably going to manifest, because that's what happens in nature. I mean, that's how I looked at it. I was like, if I keep doing it, I'm probably going to get better at it.
But that means saying goodbye to the present.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a big part of living in the now is
it implies a truncation, and then you're taking the evaluation of what is and then predicting what's in the future. And so if you were going to be stuck, Teresk, in any moment, or Zerdis, in any moment, and you had a choice of what that moment would be, and then the joke is we are all always in the present moment because you can't really ever be anywhere else, and how it would suck to get stuck in any other specific moment. That's just so specific, and you'd always just be fixed and static. But the moment that we are all always stuck in is the present that is ever marching forward. And the question is a pattern.
But people don't often experience the present.
It's something finite.
You can choose. You can choose usually between basking in the existentialism of the present, of being here now, like I said, or you can focus on using now to get you to another future. And that often comes at a sacrifice of existential want and lust.
I think for me, it's always been like a state-based thing, because like I don't really close myself off from anything. It's just what I really I go for like active state maintenance, where I say I want to be aligned in mind, body, and soul. And I try to incorporate the things I do to serve that goal.
Okay, so I haven't been dating, so I don't shave my balls, because I don't know that if I meet a girl and she goes down on me, that she really even likes balls. Some girls don't like balls at all, or don't like, but so is that not being ready at all times for life and not living according to my ethos and being too much of a... But as far as committing to leaving something behind and setting intentions for the year forward, I'm going to pretend that I wrote this and hope that me reading it sounds important. But I actually got this off of a guy on Instagram, Matua Bill. I think he's a guy who's got face tattoos from like Maori warrior style, but he looks like a Maori warrior, but just with white skin. I don't know, everyone should look him up, but I'll leave his name in the comments. So this is about saying goodbye to yesterday. And actually, before I read this again, I can also do this in 20 minutes, or it could be like a game. Like,
go ahead. I think
you should do it in 20 hours,
because we're starting to get deep. We're using like long syllable words. We're being philosophical.
Read it. Go ahead, read it.
We're not casting pearls before swine here. Oh, okay.
Try to read it in like one sitting, like do it as quickly as you can.
Well, you told me if I spoke more slow. No, okay. So
yeah, it's also true. All right. Whatever you have to do, just be yourself.
I'll put the right emphasis on the wrong syllable. Okay. So we have, thank you for showing me what no longer works. And this is saying kind of goodbye again to either yesterday or 20. Then thank you for the pressure that revealed what was real and who was real. Thank you for the lessons I did not choose, but I survived anyway. You stripped away illusions. You asked for honesty when I wanted relief. You taught me that endurance without truth is not strength. I realized that the weight that I was never meant to carry alone, and I forgave myself for how long my survival has been taking me. I honor the version of myself that stayed when leaving felt easier, and I welcome tomorrow in 2026. And this is what I welcome, is that I enter you 2026 without pretending. I choose steadiness over urgencies. I choose alignment over approval. I move at the speed of safety. I trust small steps done consistently. I allow support without shame. This year, I build from truth. I protect my energy, my body, and my time. I let clarity lead instead of fear. I do not rush becoming because I am already fucking right here. Motherfuckers.
Wow. That's some Randy Savage at the end there. I didn't see coming. That was pretty good. Which reminded me of another thing. What did you say just before this? I was just thinking about that. Oh yeah, queer eye for the straight guy, because you want to shave your balls all the time, dude. Our whole generation is a victim of
anyone's mother
accelerationism.
raped you, and so technically you are a motherfucker. Again, women, I think, especially in institutions, 9 times out of 10 are the ones who. But so again, when the word motherfucker, I just like to make sure I'm, when someone says, "Oh, it's like girls dig this, that," they're 20-30% of the audience is now going, "Oh, everything's about."
I think Schweinbach.
Everything's about pussy now. Is that what you're saying?
In
guys and gals, everything in between and outside.
Die Hard.
I think that's
in Die Hard in German. They say like "Yippee Schweinbacher" instead of mother.
Yippee Schweinbacher.
Yeah, that seems more reasonable. But yeah, okay. Aren't we a victim of the queer eye for the straight guy? Metrosexuality didn't exist before we were kids, and then all of a sudden on Bravo, there was this entire narrative that you.
Oh no, he got cut off. I agree with him. He's basically saying we're an abused generation, and I agree with that. We are an abused generation, every single one of us. To say you're not abused in this generation is being in denial, for sure. I was definitely abused from the shit I've seen that I didn't mean to see.
Yeah, who tells
saying it's about men's rights is missing the point.
Say what?
Again, so saying it's about men's rights is missing the point. And I've drawn these parallels in podcasts past, but I feel like, again, this is like a multi-layer shtick, and I just kind of rather hear what Kurt has to say. I'll remember this joke,
Kurt,
and I'll tell this like 2 more times over the next 5 years if he keeps having me on. So I'm not gonna.
Did you watch Queer Eye for the Straight Guy? Are you metrosexual?
Poor men's psychology, though.
I don't think that's a word. I don't think metrosexual is a respectable word.
It was on Bravo in the year 2000.
It was a bad word. It was a fad. Let's just be real.
Doesn't it mean like you want to have sex with the whole city? Metrosexual? I
mean, metropolitan sexuality.
Is there a more specific question?
It was about men's psychology. Actually, to be fair, I think Stefan was right. Ask about men's psychology. Sure. Go ahead, elaborate, Stefan.
Aggression and negativity is the blackface of masculinity. Masculine and feminine are words from an antiquated era of literature that describe, perhaps in the human species, a set of like domestic roles that.
All right, is your sexuality a minstrel show? Go.
No. Next question.
No, that's a fair answer as far as I could tell.
Yeah, right. What was it about gender? I don't know. It seemed like there was something there. You were trying to ask about being a man and getting rid of false dichotomies. I don't know. What was it?
And again, I was muted. So again, is the question phrased to me or?
Yeah, Stefan, I was asking you to ask the question to Kurt because you seemed like you wanted Kurt to answer a question.
Does being a musician and like having an artistic outlet help deal with the way that the universe happens to be, and like everyone's burden is the heaviest, so to speak, or every man thinks that they're, but and is this stream enough creative expression for Andreas? And outside of like, again, the videos and the fact that he could in the intros and outros, and that's again, I can't wait
to see a live performance.
of base fucking memes and like someone screaming that at full volume to like warm up the crowd as part
That's
of like
true.
an intro.
I do want to make him go take me to like Amish towns and then just project out of the back of a van and do free shows for Amish. I think that that's probably the solution.
Well, we
That's
have
not
a
really a
fair
question,
trade.
though.
All right. We've been planning the boys trip for quite some time.
Like,
You come part 1 boys trip, come to Amish land. Part 2 boys trip is
Help you escape the
well,
Amish land.
No, but you know
Well,
how it's
yeah.
like if you're
Get you
doing a
out of
fundraiser
Amish
and you
land.
don't make it, like your grandpa's gonna like make up the extra 90% of like whatever you didn't sell in Girl Scout cookies through like an anonymous donation. But like, yeah, no, we should. I mean, in theory, do stuff like that and fund it. We should send Bernie back to the Badlands.
You should set up the Exertus headquarters in New York City and have Kurt like live there, and Andreas is closer to Europe, right across the pond. And then we could all just go
What was
there.
the
And
impetus of the road trip? Because last episode too, Kurt was talking about a boys trip, but no, but this one was specifically to film what now?
There's an East
Amish
Coast
town.
boys trip that's starting in Pennsylvania. Actually, I could start it in Boston, get to Pennsylvania, then we lead to New York. And then in New York, we have to go surfing for some reason, but it should be in the snow at Montauk because that would be really funny for Kurt, his first snow trip. Like, have you ever skied? I mean, surfed? I mean, in the snow? It's like, what is it? What even is it when you surf at Montauk in the snow? Do it.
There's not many
and then-
podcasts where people get baked, and so the idea. What do you guys think of a title instead of Based AF, which Krigler does on Mondays? I want to do a podcast called Baked AF, and like that way, like even celebrities will call in and they can do their loosiest goosiest material that they edit out of their specials because they're trying to play to the middle for the mass market, but like. And just
I
show
feel
when
like
it's okay to
they
be goofy.
don't let you
know?
do that, right? Wouldn't there be more shows like that? Obviously,
But like
I feel
Odyssey,
you just
again,
won't-
there
YouTube
are
doesn't
some
allow
streamers
that
that
or
like
something.
link up with Snoop Dogg and do it.
well,
But again, they're
I mean,
all smoking THCA weed. Weed went out of style because it's not good anymore unless you decarb it. But we're not going to get into that right now.
well, if you watch like terrorist episodes, every single one where I'm smoking like back to back joints, and like
You don't know.
Yeah,
It
and
could
that's
easily be
wasted.
something else, though. But you
But
don't know
are your
what it
eyes
is.
red, my
It could
friend?
be anything. It could be anything.
I'm just saying it's like as long as you don't make it about that, then you could pretty much go under the radar and get as loaded as you want. It's all good. And
So
just
with edibles and stuff too, and again, most people that are looking for high dosage of THC, they're going to dab, and then THC, depending on your dab rig, works. But for the active,
have you ever
smoking
not
and the art
smoked
of
weed
rolling,
for like a long time, and then you try it, and then you realize that it gives you extreme anxiety now, and you can't smoke it anymore?
you know the frog in the boiling pot where it slowly gets warmer and warmer and warmer. The weed slowly got shittier and because again, when weed is legalized, the dispensaries would stock up with like a 2-month supply, and so it sits on the shelves, and at least it cures a little bit. But then eventually everything is on consignment because all the brands are competing with each other, millions of dollars in debt, and none of the brands in the
We have
states where
two
it's
votes.
legal to
One
sell,
is Stefan quit weed. It's dorky, and then Eric, definitely not Eric Dubé says just smoke more. So you've got two different opinions.
How is you should definitely
which one is the psyop?
Reach out to Derek. Speaking of like people that you're not reaching out to him because you like him or like he would just be a great voice. Now that the
Which
guy
one?
that was related to
to
Joseph
who?
Smith isn't on. Eric Dubé, just invite him on.
Yeah, I should try again. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
He picks hole in the wall podcasts sometimes, but nothing regular and repeating because they open up and close up shop. Whereas you're Mr. Consistent, you know.
Oh my god. I don't know.
Has Andreas already replaced himself with an AI?
The flat Earth thing is really like where I got in trouble to begin with. Once I started interviewing flat earthers, that's when my channel first experienced like major cuts to promotion by YouTube. You know, it was like 100,000, 20,000 view videos, very standard. And then I did interviews, and it was right around the time they said that BBC had an article talking about the concern about misinformation on YouTube.
But do Baptists stop listening to a channel if you talk about Catholicism for 30 minutes or have like an episode or two about it? Like all of a sudden they're like, no, never again am I tuning in. And those kind of closed-minded people, you want as much distance between you and them physically and digitally probably as possible. You can go ahead and be fans of like fucking anybody else. If you're the type of, again, you termed coined the term hypnotic reactionary. And then Matt Baker, his equivalent was Mindkovic, which is like a mind control victim. And it's someone who can be convinced with even it used to just be a bulletin or a magazine article to be radicalized. Now it's a 5-minute video that's probably flashing lights at you at the right times and is playing off of heartstrings. And you'll go put your life on the line. You'll go swarm you'll go participate in stalking a bunch of federal agents that yeah. Right? In Minnesota. And that's why Andreas isn't there right now. Otherwise, he'd be in the back of a series of vans being like given medicine. So he only remembers the last 6 hours, which is the current mission he's having, like stalking the current, whether it's in defense of, and he's like setting up the simulation on both sides in the hopes that I don't know.
Dude, what about John Birch? I don't know.
This is that vast region of China that lies between two great rivers, the Yangtze and Wangho. It was here on the Lunghai Railway that the final scenes of a most extraordinary story were enacted. American though he was, John Birch's life ended where it began. For as Asia was the place of his death, so also was Asia the place of his birth. At the foot of the Himalayas, at the headwaters of the Ganges, in Landour, India, John Birch was born to missionary parents on May 28, 1918.
If you enjoy smoking weed,
Mercer University
you haven't
Macon,
taken my
Georgia,
advice about
is where
decarbonizing
John
first,
decides to be a missionary to China.
then
He graduates from Mercer in 1939. He leaves for China almost immediately. When John arrives in Shanghai during the summer of 1940, China has been at war with Japan for 2.5 years. He stays in Shanghai for the first 6 months. Attending a language school, he picks up the local dialect in record time. In fact, by early 1941, he masters the difficult native language well enough to be sent to Hangzhou, where he teaches at a Chinese school for boys, conducts religious services, and works with Chinese ministers in many small churches throughout a wide area. His routine missionary trips back and forth through enemy lines are not viewed kindly by the Japanese.
Two people say something at the same time.
On the very first day of war with the United States, December 7, 1941, the Japanese forces in China send soldiers to arrest one John Birch, American missionary. Alerted to the danger, John narrowly escapes
To
and
everyone
flees to
else's
Yangtze
NPCs.
province, where he continues to expand his missionary work. On April 18, 1942, launched from the deck of an aircraft carrier, Colonel James Doolittle leads his famous raid on Tokyo. The pilots know they can never land their bombers on the carrier, so they simply head toward free China as far as their fuel can carry them. They bail out
All the
over
scripture
enemy
not even one
territory.
nickel verse from a woman.
Meanwhile, John's missionary activity has brought him once again deep into the Japanese-held sector, and the next night finds him inconspicuously seated at a small cafe in Zhejiang province. A stranger approaches and whispers, "If you are an American, please follow me." Outside, John is led to a boat that contains none other than Colonel Doolittle himself and his flight crew. They tell John that they're desperately in need of a translator and help in getting through Japanese lines. And so John leads the group out of enemy territory. On the way to Langshi, he tells Colonel Doolittle of his desire now to join the American forces in China, preferably as a chaplain, but in whatever capacity he can be most useful. Sometime later, while in Guilin, and quite by coincidence, John meets General Claire Chennault of the famous Flying Tigers. The general gives him a ride to Chungking in an army transport plane. This is the beginning of a friendship that deepens through the trials of war. On the 4th of July, 1942, John is commissioned as second lieutenant in the United States Army Air Force. But because General Chennault already has a chaplain, and because he desperately needs old China hands who speak the language, are aware of the intricate social customs, and who can live on the meager Chinese diet, John accepts the dangerous assignment of gathering information behind enemy lines. Using cloth panels on the ground to pinpoint enemy targets, and personally directing the bombing runs by radio, John quickly becomes almost a legendary figure known to all as the Eyes of the 14th Air Force. From sites overlooking the Yangtze River, John and his crew are able to maintain such a surveillance that the Japanese are unable to move a single ship on the river without the Air Force knowing it. When Air Force pilots have repeated difficulty in finding a particular munition dump, John filters back through enemy lines to a friendly airfield, and then, riding in the nose of the lead bomber, he personally pinpoints the target for the bombardier. The dump is completely destroyed. John undertakes the seemingly impossible task of building 2 emergency airfields. His sincere friendship for the Chinese and devotion to their cause is so unmistakable that literally thousands of coolies labor by the most primitive methods to build his airstrips. These valuable fields deep in enemy territory do not cost the U.S. Air Force one single penny. In a moment of meditation, he writes to his parents, "I am growing in the ability to handle men in the achievement of difficult tasks. So these years of violence are not entirely wasted." In September of 1944, for exceptionally meritorious conduct in performance of outstanding service, General Claire Chennault proudly pins the Legion of Merit on Captain John Birch. The end of war did not by any means clear up the problems in China. 3 million Japanese were now virtually stranded in that vast land they had entered 8 years earlier as conquerors. The resulting chaos demanded that many difficult missions be undertaken to unscramble the confusion. Assigned to one such mission are Captain Grimes, Lieutenant Ogle, and Sergeant Myers of the United States Army, 2 Korean and 5 Chinese enlisted men, Lieutenant Tung of the Chinese Army, and Captain John Birch in command. Shortly after departure, their train is stopped by a break in the tracks of the Lunghai Railroad about 50 miles west of Suzhou. They transfer their gear to a small handcar, despite the warning that there are marauding bands of communist guerrillas ahead. The men feel that, as Americans and as allies in the war against Japan, there should be nothing to fear from the communists. And besides, the war is over. Has been for 10 days. Finally, they meet up with a force of communist guerrillas, several hundred strong. They are ordered to halt. Captain Birch and Lieutenant Tung ask to speak with the man in charge. After a brief conversation, they are led into the village and then left surrounded by soldiers. Captain Grimes and the rest of the party stay behind. Lieutenant Tung overhears several of the communist soldiers and warns Captain Birch that his life may be in danger if they stay. John replies, "It doesn't make much difference what happens to me, but it is of utmost importance that my country learn now whether these people are friend or foe." Friend or foe? The answer is quick in coming. Disarm that man. Captain Birch demands to know by what authority an American officer is being disarmed. Wait, if he is to be disarmed, let me do it. No, shoot him first. Lieutenant Tung has been shot in the leg and then bayoneted. The last thing he remembers is an order for Captain Birch to move out. But John, also hit in the leg, replies, "I cannot walk." Friend or foe? As the body of John Birch lies lifeless in a ditch, the question is answered.
know what I mean? So, John Birch, bro.
Sus. And very interesting. It's like reminds me of like
What a Family Guy cutaway that was.
yeah, it's like a fairy tale of John Smith or something like that. It's pretty funny.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a weird reality. Whoa, we got. Oh my God, it's Aiden.
Hey, how's it going?
Bro.
Oh, my hair's horrible right now.
What's going on?
You're in Texas.
Yep.
How's it going in
Oh,
Texas?
nice.
Doing good. Just got out. So,
From jail?
So I know you've been working on some awesome projects. Do you have a Clawbot? Are you doing any of that, or just doing the generative
Yakubot,
right now?
yeah. Wait. We can show that right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do I
Guys
go
going?
to the Aiden AI?
Yeah, the Yakubot
Instagram.
Twitter, TikTok. That's a good one.
How do I
Honestly,
find it?
I sent a few of them to you, like on Instagram.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it quickly. You sent it recently? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on, Aiden? I'm Jordan.
Jordan, how's it going? It's been going good. I've been shitting constant late hours doing this shit, like just grinding now, like epic grinding.
At work?
Oh,
No,
it's
Clawbot.
good.
Yo,
I mean,
same
it's-
here. I'm losing sleep
Okay.
over this shit, man. Like it's
Wait.
fucked up.
Put the yeah. But you have to put the sound on to make it funnier.
I'll work on it. 1 second. Here we go.
Is ICE trying to deport your black boyfriend? Is ICE putting handcuffs on your son? Are they asking for his papers? I am Uncle Hassan. ICE has harassed me too. They follow me into an alleyway and make fun of my bulbous head. Fear not, for I have solution, a Somalian solution. Yakub laser. Yakub lasers melt for ICE agents and their Filipino wives.
Yakub lasers will make the Asian women fly? What endearing Somalian engineering you have, Uncle Hassan.
Yakub laser will make all of the Asian women fly by kilowatt-powered.
Hi, me and my son Jaden need personal lasers to fend ourselves away from ICE. Yakub lasers saved our community.
Yakub lasers is the future of Somalia resistance and BBW protection. Is ICE trying to...
Is this with Sora, or how are you making this? Did
Are
you make
you
this on
impressed?
your own system, or did you use Sora?
I never use Sora. Don't use Sora unless if it's
This
like
is your own
something like
local?
Emily Eustace is doing. Don't use Sora.
Are you depressed parent? Your children can't read. Mine can't neither. Hi, I am Uncle Hassan. My child has autism and dyslexia. My child came home crying every day. White school teachers were too stupid to help him. Fear not. With Somalian doctors I invented with Yakubot, my children could learn. Yakubot was built by Somali hands and funded by Qatar. Yakubot runs on HAT, BDBW, biofuel, Captagon pellets feeding an FPP.2 GPU NVIDIA processor. Somalia created, engineered, children do good learning. Kids learn to read in 10 weeks or money back.
Eddie Hassan, I can read better.
Jesus, bro.
So you made all those, Aiden? That's
Yeah.
cool, man.
So
That's
like
wild.
the small kid is like, I feel like the kind of like this other character. So I want like there to be eventually like 400 different Somali characters that have their own movies. Like
my God.
they're like all eventually every single one of them will like it would be like a Rick and Morty universe of like Yakub's like Somalians, and like I have Ilan Omar eventually will be an octopus. Like
You have a big dream, man.
no, I already do. I
Somali.
already have it. And it's like fuck. It's very weird. It's like very weird.
Well, it's future art for sure. I don't know. Kurt, do you have
I
thoughts?
had the infinite dream of making every girl nude, and yet I choose just to make
real life?
Ilan Omar an octopus.
Yeah, sure. You could do anything if you wanted. I don't know. What do you think about this? What do you think about his Somali propaganda, gentlemen?
There are places where women have to pay a tax in order to wear a shirt, and if they're broke, they have to walk around topless. But it's like up until old age, and it's just like a way to acknowledge. It's like a cat. It's not a caste or a class system, but now there's a let me see your papers tax. So you know the real ID. This came to me right before the stream. This is a 5-second idea. You conquer the real ID stream because you make voter ID mandatory, and now it's a poll tax, and I don't have a gold star on my paperwork because the last time they told my people that, oh, everyone's doing it, yeah, no big deal, just get the gold star on your. I understand it's 5-pointed star this time, but like now I can go to the airport, and at first for a long time they bluffed and they said, no, you're not gonna be able to travel. You know that you're not gonna be able to travel. But now you can go there, and somehow by swiping your credit card for $45. Someone's audio is all out of whack right now, but
yeah, I think you're sorry, single mother. I think your microphone's a little brutal.
But no,
It's all
so
good.
Andreas, you're tech savvy. How does that work? You swipe your credit card, or let's say you pay cash. Now, what it was supposed to be a unique code and signature in your microchip real ID.
Now it's a chip in
Somehow
the air.
you
So
just
if
pay
someone has a
$45
machine,
and there's a guy who pushes a button, and it's fine now. You're good.
someone can actually scan your card as you walk by now, right? Because they've got those chips that you can bring up close to the machine and it just sort of taps. But if you have certain machines and you aim them at people, you can copy the codes from different credit cards as they walk by you. And then you can use their credit cards. You can charge their credit cards with, various tools that can wash it through a name that seems reasonable, and it quickly takes the money and puts it in a different account. People are clearly like hackers are doing this now. So I mean, it seems like a really dangerous thing.
The conservative aspect of this ID laws, and it's a major thing. I know in was it Justice or not, Sheriff Alito in New Mexico. There's really people feel really passionate in Massachusetts. Used to not. It was a non-mandatory ID state. Some states you have to produce your papers apparently, whether you're a citizen or not. But as far as like privacy, what is it? The Fourth Amendment right to avoid unnecessary or undue violations of your privacy, or and whether or not back in the day that made sense in a certain way as a principle, and whether or not today.
Well, they make wallets.
I'm still just wondering from a technological standpoint.
They make wallets that will actually block the EMF frequency. Like there's a certain material that you can get that just goes around your cards, and then your card can't be easily scanned. But a lot of people are getting their cards scanned right now, apparently, because machines are really cheap on like AliExpress that just pick up those signals. I think it's like a near frequency.
So I've always tried to do this. We pass it around so I'm in Massachusetts. They're trying to switch to the Real ID, which means you have to have a microchip in your card, and they say that's as good as having a passport, but I don't have that, and I've renewed my ID. They said before, if you renew it after a certain amount of time, you were not going to have a choice. It was going to have to be the Real ID, but then eventually they went back on that too. So they bluffed. It's like the vaccine,
Look this up. Robert Vincent calls BS on your shirt tax for females. Is there anywhere, I'm asking the internet, is there anywhere in the world where women have a shirt tax? What was the rest of your point? And like have to be taught.
It was in the imaginary universe that Aiden was going to create. And by the way, Aiden, what's up, man? I like how you appeared when I disappeared.
Yeah, sup? I just got out of things. I just saw your thing. Usually, yeah.
Your facial structure is somewhere between mine and my father's, which is interesting because me and him don't look all that much alike. But like, if there was some other alternate lineage or something, again, tell mom I say hi. When redheads see each other out west in America, they say, tell mom I say hi. But yeah.
In Switzerland, apparently there was a gender-based tariff tax where women's clothes faced a higher customs duty than men's and had a real effect on the retail pricing. Not exactly the same as like being forced not to wear women's clothes if you're a woman.
No, I was talking about gentlemen's clubs. Where it's like you pay membership to like be there, but some people are paying membership to work there, and if you're working there, then you have to have your tits. No, again, that's not. I thought this was something I heard I saw it on the TV actually.
Hey, this is some sandstorm stuff going on here still.
What it was, there was an influencer, and I asked everyone else, and they all said that guy was like a really trustworthy source. So someone I believed.
Y'all know that movie, Tremors? Real. I tell you, I'm out here about to get eaten by one. No, I'm just kidding. But if I were to fake my death in a Nevada desert, it would happen on the live stream, right? So if I disappear and show up dead, just know I'm still alive. All right.
Fair enough. All right. My God. Chris, save me.
With what? What do you want to?
I don't know.
What do you
I
want me to
just
say?
thinking. I just think it's a hot potato.
All right. So with
Passing-
Aiden's AI content, I think it's really. I mean, it's probably the smartest route you could take when you're trying to, I don't know, make some kind of significant platform on social media driven by AI generated content. Basically, just funny shit. Because like a lot of my friends would basically they would readily make fun of like AI quote unquote slop. They'd be like, that's not real music, that's not real editing, those aren't real movies, whatever, just this typical the criticism loops. But then eventually they'll just be like, but those at the same time, like they'll love the hilarious ones where they show like Jeffrey Epstein, like like basically a side reel of him traveling across the world and getting into all sorts of like shit like that. And like people just eat that shit up. They like the funny shit. It's like they can't take the real stuff seriously that artists would wish you would take seriously. No, but they love the funny shit, like Yakub with his big brain talking about like white people lasers. Like that's the shit that people just fucking
It's on the right
like,
side of the uncanny valley, because if it's too real, then people. I mean, I feel like we're a couple years away. Anyone born within the last 3 years, by the time they're 10, there will be no. All children will know that looking at some video doesn't mean it happened, right? I think a lot of people today, you show this to people that are 40, 50 years old, they still believe the moon landing. They're still going to believe the Yakub video more than anyone else. There's a bunch of, it's crazy when you go on Facebook, how many boomers still see the most obviously fake AI videos or photos and believe that they're true. But I don't think anyone will take anything to be real anymore.
Ironically enough, this is probably going to drive people to trust cartoons more, because they're going to be like, at least we know that cartoons were made with the intent of presenting itself as this is not real. This is just a cartoon or animation or whatever. So people will be more at least like inclined, I think, to go to those sources of entertainment and be like, well, at least we know this isn't like AI pretending to be real. This is, even if it is AI generated animation,
Well, did you guys hear that Jason Vanderbeek or whatever, James Vanderbeek, the Dawson's Creek actor, just died?
Dawson's Creek? He died?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that drugs or accident?
Bro, no. I don't know. I just saw. Check it out. Colorectal cancer.
That's
bummer. Yeah.
48.
Yeah, that's
garbage,
crazy,
man. What is this? The freaking 40s or 50s?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, like, it's been a lot of weird celebrity deaths recently. It always feels like they're preparing. When a bunch of celebrities die, it feels like they're preparing for a super vampire storm. Some kind of high energy. I don't know. That seems weird. The last person who died a week ago was the Schitt's Creek and Beetlejuice mother, right? Catherine O'Hara.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara. She's a legend, man. She's actually a legend in comedy, especially Canadian comedy. But SCTV, Schitt's Creek, Home Alone, Beetlejuice, like you said, she did quite a bit.
Yeah. I wonder about the deaths of these people, because it just seems so, there's got to be something that happens right before this, like some energy shift in the universe. All of a sudden, something is about to happen in the Ukraine, or, yeah, exactly. Right. Something weird. I wonder why these people of all the Expendables.
Right.
The Harvest.
Hey. Is Vega there? Oh, Vega. Sorry, I didn't see you in the back there. How's it going? Yo. Peekaboo. All right. There was.
See, Andre, see the background behind me? We discussed this before the stream. I'm now blending in. I've got like a bunch of weed-themed outfits. I got the pants that match the top of weed leaves. And see, I blend in. So, you know, in the movie Grandma's Boy, the guy who wears the trench coat, he sits there and he's
Great
up against the wall. And he goes, how can they see me? Because in the game, that cloak gives him like invisibility, and he like was putting himself in the mindset of the main character of the game, and you know, how can they see me? Right? I should blend in.
I mean,
but in 5 minutes, again, I've got like 4 or 5 weed-themed outfits because it's my goal to create third spaces in the community. Whether there's a carve-out in the Massachusetts statute now specifically designed for places that says like yoga studios to host social consumption of marijuana. And so it's like a cigar club, and you pay a membership to get in. And as long as you're not drunk, there's probably elders and people playing music there. And it's a community space where you're not going to get kicked out for just smoking weed all day.
I mean, I feel like California did that. And at a certain point, it felt like it went through the culture, you know? It was for a while a lot of people's identity politics, but as you know, people make their politics their identity. And I think with marijuana, it was similar because it could either be you can save the world with this, or you know, it's medicine, so it's going to save people's lives with this.
And it is until it isn't. You understand how much of a sour mix it becomes if what used to be flowing in the streets was awesome weed that was good for and had, again, a specific measurable medicinal effect. And now that it's legalized, there's pounds and pounds of it everywhere, and the average grower is priced out of the whole thing, and everyone's in debt selling things on consignment. It's all raw weed, and
it is kind of weird how,
because it's supposed to be the healing of the healing of the nations and of mankind. Meaning, not only does it, like, I haven't had stomach ulcers for the last like 3 or 4 months now that I finally figured this out, and
what's that thing? What you wearing there? Whoa, that's a bolo tie. I thought so. It's like my grandpa. That's awesome.
Tiger's eye.
Very sweet. Legit.
I couldn't wear my plates on the plane, so I figured I needed some kind of metaphysical protection.
And you just got back to California?
I'm still here. I mean,
nice.
No, I'm definitely in Kentucky. All of my social media says that I'm there, so that's where I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sure you are. And it looks so lifelike on the moon there in Kentucky.
Yo, that's a sick hoodie, bro. Holy shit. It's so clean.
Bro, I got the fucking matching sweats too, dog.
Oh, man. That's fucking... that's baller. It's very shiesty.
What is that? Glock?
Yes, sir.
Like the brand?
Yeah. I believe they're most well known for brokering horse semen.
Oh,
that's a joke.
A lot of money in that.
Are in that business, but yeah, yes, it is a Glock, the Austrian firearms company sweatsuit.
It's dope.
Gotcha.
So you know, there's a separate market for dressage semen, horse semen versus racehorse semen. You know,
there would have to be, yeah.
And then also for the steeplechase.
And people too. They do that for people. Like different folks, semens have different value on the market, on the old semen market.
Is that true? I didn't realize.
I just made it up. I don't know. It just sounded right. Like,
I mean, basically, isn't that why, you know, they don't care how pretty a model is as long as she's a certain height. It's like a certain kind of gene selectivity that they're doing.
You've heard that comment, oh, they've got the good hair. There was a line in a movie recently with, I think, Adrian Brody. It was the one about the like predicted the train crash in Ohio where like this giant black plume. But somewhere in the movie, someone's daughter was dark skinned but had like red curly hair, and someone was following them around trying to explain who this family was and how they're related. And she has important hair. It is like somehow right now it's an anomaly. And in agriculture, you create a clone army and you cut down the previous, whether it be diversified or, you know,
black woman hair.
Love it.
I love my
mankind
hair, my black woman hair. I love
part of
my
our ability.
I
Part of
love
our
my
ability to
black
conquer.
woman hair. I love my hair. It's the greatest.
Holy shit.
I love
My
my hair. Guys, I want everyone to look up Sesame Street's I love my hair skit. Sesame Street, I love my hair.
Nice.
Go look that up on Google.
You're saying
right
that
now.
wasn't improvised? That was a Jim Henson classic right there?
Oh my god.
No, there is a Jim Henson classic though on black woman hair on Sesame Street.
No, I believe that.
Look it up. Sorry, Andreas.
I'm doing
Now,
it.
when in The Wiz, where Michael Jackson played the Scarecrow, was that blackface or whiteface, or was it like a reverse?
It's minstrel. That's what you call it.
Maybe.
Is this real? Oh my god. They really did this.
But he was Jesus on the cross as well as the Scarecrow on the pole. Huh? Yeah, and you don't have an option when you're there.
Oh no.
It's brown and it's right up there.
We're gonna get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna
You know what I love. That's right. My hair. I really love my hair.
Me too, girl. Me too.
Look, we're only going to get in trouble if you keep touching yourself while you watch this stuff.
You know what this reminds me of? Did you hear what's her name? That
sit in an afro. Let it sit in an afro, or my hairs look so good in a cornrow.
It is called a Jewfro. And in the up until the 1940s, Jews were generally perceived as dark-skinned and poor. And now that after World War II, somehow we're perceived as like the stereotypical Jew is white somehow.
They got
you ever hear the?
No,
Kanye
it was the
West
again.
Carter
How many black people did you see?
White Jews are redheads.
In
In the 1890s, you had a lot of redhead Jews that were in New York.
In all the concentration camps, how many people did you see with a skin a shade darker than white?
Gene Wilder, for instance, right? Even Mel Blanc, Jackie Mason. A lot of the Jews that were famous in the 20th century were the Ukrainian, Khazarian Jews who were Ashkenazi. They're not Sephardic. So Sephardic Jews, sure, are darker a lot of the time because they're living in like Arabic places or in the Middle East or further towards the equatorial places. And Khazarian Jews were, John Kerry, who ran for president, is actually an Ashkenazi Jew and just his family were able to hide their Jewishness by being Irish. Hence
didn't he marry the heiress of the Heinz Empire or something like Heinz?
Yeah,
ketchup?
totally. Ketchup.
Alexander Graham Bell.
Ketchup is actually like a 3,000-year-old, like not cat's soup, but it's not really made of cats, but it's made of anchovies that have been fermented with mushroom sauce.
That sounds baller, yo. I'll try that.
Super good. Yeah, you have to actually get real ketchup and it's from like the Philippines, 3000 BC. But in the 19th century, for transporting purposes, they started using tomato instead of mushroom and adding like baking soda or baking powder or some kind of sodium benzoate stuff that was like poisonous, essentially, to keep it shelf durable. And then you got Heinz, and Heinz started making it's not 57 for any other reason than Kabbalah and the occult, which is pretty interesting too.
Well, it's funny, they only agreed to sell that to the population as like, we're adding this new preservative and it's totally fine. And the Russians funded the study in the US to get it rubber stamped through, and the US funded the study in Russia to get it stamped through over there. But is any of the stuff we eat actually food? And like I was at Costco the other day, it was pomegranate Perels. And instead of getting a pomegranate, they're like deshelled and they're in a cup. And there's 2 ingredients, and it says pomegranate Perels and mushroom extract. And I put it back down because I don't know what anonymous mushroom extract means, and I'm not really sure I want to find out.
But yeah, abracadabra is the same gematria as Heinz 57, right? So it's a magical invocation. There's a lot of weird stuff about ketchup people don't realize.
Well, gin as well used to be a place to preserve all the non-psychoactive or blood pressure or like cardiovascular affecting medicinal herbs or flavoring herbs. There's certain dyes that they produce, or like certain plants that produce a color but no flavor, and they don't have any carcinogens in them, and it takes a lot of breeding you have to find them and then breed those types of plants.
And what are you eating? Is that chicken?
Shawarma.
Pork chops today.
My man.
Pork chops. Nice.
Straight from the foil.
Look at that. Look at those sirloin steaks this boy's got right there.
It's not my favorite time of year because normally you can put these on the smoker and that would turn out absolutely delicious. But what can you do? You can't always slow roast things at 250 delicious degrees.
You got to get them in air fryer.
Air fryers are lit.
Yeah.
Just got one.
I'm thinking about getting one and getting rid of a microwave.
Yes, do it.
I think not having a kitchen and only having Japanese appliances is the way to go.
Maybe.
Or Chinese now, I guess, but you know my point.
Yeah. I like the idea of a meal staging area in the home, though. You know,
I like that mycelial network home where you've got things everywhere, kind of like the Matrix, and you pull out, you know, like, because you can put your air fryer in your bathroom and put your bathroom in your closet and put your shower in a different room. Like, if it's all modular, you could just move things around wherever you want. There's no reason why anything has to be bolted to the wall anymore.
Well, no, and if you have a pressure cooker and you want it to get hotter, just fill it with oil and knock off the pressure valve. That's the emergency release, and then just put it on the highest temperature setting.
Please don't do that. Thank you.
Well, the thing is, people circulate videos like that in areas where and they put like foreign text on there, and so it's just an image. And then college students, they're told that that's how you decarboxylate your wheat, because you need to raise the temperature, and you want to do it in 15 minutes. And so they take what they have, and then it's called like Pop Secret. And the type of burn, you see the splatter marks on the wall and the ceiling, and the violence with which the lid of the pressure cooker gets embedded in the ceiling.
Look how clean that hair is, bro. You know what I mean? Excellent. Yeah, I don't think you should like
never touch the pressure valve on
trying to make weed.
Honestly, it's true. It's true that you can put on. You should be able to put whatever the fuck you want, wherever the fuck you want. But I've been interested lately. I don't know if you guys have heard, gotten into it, but like feng shui and how it like relates to the way you arrange your stuff, basically. So that always interested me, because like I was like, at first it just feels like like woo bullshit, but then when you really consider it and like your psychological engagement with like all the different appliances in your home, and like specifically the cardinal direction you're facing when you're engaging with it, and like how sunlight hits you, or the way like what the first thing you see when you wake up, is it a fucking screen, is it the door, is it like a window, like shit like that. I thought that's really fascinating.
Yeah, I did see a study though where I agree that energy flow is important, but I've also seen a study where they took like 10 different feng shui arrangers or organizers to come help clean up a house, and they set up a house, and each one of them came in and arranged things according to feng shui, and each time they came in, there's, oh my god, this place is totally out of feng shui, and then they would do it a different way, and the next person would come in, and I think that there's probably another explanation that's like exploitation. But if every single one of them that did the feng shui did it in a different way, does that mean that there's not a universal energy flow? And that, especially if they're saying that each other energy flow was so terrible that they had to change it, right?
Well, I think. Sorry, real quick. I just want to say, like, I just want to say, I think it's a lot of it has to do with your lifestyle. Like, that's what I liked about it, was it's very utilitarian in a sense where there's no right and wrong way to do your feng shui. It's just, if you're going to work from your home, then you should have something against a specific wall, like on the eastern wall or whatever, or your TV, or like, stuff like that, and your computers. So I thought that was cool. It's because that means.
So Frank Lloyd, you're talking about programming a space, and I went to architecture school, and it was no longer about designing what a building looked like on the inside or outside. It's about controlling the way and affecting the way people move through and experience the space. And so Frank Lloyd Wright, not only did he design the layout of the floor, he would draw on the drawings. He said if he could have bolted the furniture down to the floor, he would have. And if you have the original furniture with an original Frank Lloyd Wright in the windows, it's like a collector's item, but it's a whole house, and it's a historical like preservation thing. But he was famous in he would go visit the house because he would get hired to do one project here, one project there, and there's one man, he could only do so many. But the idea that there is a feng shui and a correct or incorrect way, so says Sensei Stefan, or the yoga teacher or the yoga professor would say, the non-attachment aspect is observing what is and being really sure that everything is exactly where it needs to be, so that for everybody else except yourself, and being ready for someone else that you actually probably don't like or don't respect or don't even know, and might have some sort of bias against, and then they're going to point out the one thing that you're most sure of is in the right place, and then like a week later you're going to be like, fuck. And either it's going to cause you to continue to bifurcate in this pathological sense where you get backed into corners, intellectually speaking, in the course of any given conversation or debate.
So then
and
why
instead
do they
of
have
ceding ground,
then why do they have different goals? So if each feng shui arranger had their own way to arrange things, that's one thing. But if they each one thinks the last way that the other feng shui person put together was so terrible that it had to be rearranged.
Well, did it meet fire code is the real question. And that's really the only important thing.
Yo, think of it this way. It's like Linux. It's like your Linux configuration, right? If you're into Linux, you hop on someone else's terminal and look through their files, their file directories. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like this is some cardinal sin shit. And then they'll look at your file system and they'll be like, dude, this is a mess. You know, it's whatever you use it for.
My home directory is one partition for like 2 different users from 2 different distributions I have installed on the same.
See,
for me, I used to leave my shirt untucked. I'd wear a collared shirt and a sweater and like khakis, but I would leave the t-shirt underneath. And the idea was it looked like I needed a mom. It was like, it's not a tag untucked. It was that's a little like, but it looked like someone needed to come up, and it's like you're almost there and put together. And like the hair again was like a contrast with walking oxymoron. But I was working in an office. But no, the idea that you have like, and you could also pretend to hide in all of your information on servers, and even if you're Lex Friedman eventually, or even Andreas said someone sent like a kill code to the servers that some of the Tartaria research was on, and the kill code didn't just like melt the computer program, because every plastic or every substrate has like an ignition temperature or like frequency, and for all you know, like the stacks like actually melted down. It's not like a figure of speech or but making controlling your external environment and needing it to be a certain way, for me, it's like a facilitation thing. Yeah, either you're hosting in your own space, unless you're creating art or working on something, like Vegas would relate to that. You have your garage and your tools, and it's obvious where the creation happens.
Aiden, you said you wanted to show 2 more clips, but I don't see where they are. I only see the Jacobin clips and the Coca-Cola commercials.
They're on the TikTok. Look up. They're like midway down. 2 of them are Jeffrey Epstein ones.
So Aiden, you came up in a conversation between Andreas and I last week, and I wanted you, in your perspective, that when I talk about marijuana, your stance on it is, if you're listening out there, don't take that guy's advice. Be careful. And what I realize is most times when people are having a conversation with you, Aiden, and trying to just tell you about it, they're trying to offer you some to go out back and smoke with it. And your instinct to say no there is 100% correct. If you don't, it's not something to be used willy-nilly, So I respect your.
Aiden, what do I type in on TikTok?
It's like
Aiden
9,000 or something like that.
And it comes from a place of positivity and judgment whenever you comment on it. So I appreciate you as a human being.
Like down, it's there's a few of them that are like weird, but it's like more down. They're not even showing those ones. Those are the fun, like they're like, okay, wait, they're go a little bit more down. Go a little bit more down. You're not. It's like the one that has like no, above, not that one. No, not that one. Oh, those two right there. Those 2, the one to the left.
Okay, I got the sound on it. Hold on.
Wait, yeah. I instantly knew Jeffrey's kind of stupid after.
But Yakubat did. Yakubat told me all of the inherent secrets.
Oh no!
Audio confession. Everything
Nice.
worthless in my life is deleted instantly. No one can understand the intense compute. Only Somali engineers understand 40 teraflops of compute vibrating through your
Somalia created, engineered.
science.
Oh my God.
Nice.
And then there's another one.
I
That
see
one's
these
better.
Yaku docs teaching kids. They are great with kids, giving a gentle hand. They like fat Gentile white women.
Holy shit.
When I have GPU co-ed stuck onto me, I know that your carb bud is helping and connecting me to my divine spark. Allah. These Somalian engineer doctors help me find my Jewish soul.
Oh my
Somalia
God.
created, engineered.
Hang that in the
Wait,
museum,
the
yo.
joke there was Jews don't have souls.
All right, so
Women in college, they don't have uteruses by that age anymore. I mean, to become an OBGYN, you got to operate on like 650 women, and so they give out those things willy-nilly.
a popular theory is that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive, which I think is just dandy. The other side of that is,
I think he's
every
going to
now and again,
adopt a few Somali children. Him and Ghislaine Maxwell, they're going to adopt Somali children.
if you just browse like a lot of social media pages, a lot of comments would be like, my favorite conspiracy is that, quote unquote, Jeffrey Epstein was really like, he was doing subversive work. Like he really actually was one of the good guys.
He was the good guys. I've heard that one too.
Well, even if he claimed to be dropping the dime on everyone else, does that make him the good guy still?
No, like he was an undercover rogue bad
It
guy.
makes, again, you're a bootlicker at that, or that's how you come across as like a. But all the pictures of Ghislaine and Jeffrey that Trump's not in, I'm pretty sure he was the one holding the camera, and no one talks about that.
No.
And they were all trying to gain leverage over each other, so they had dirt on each other. In theory, moving forward, or maybe people just like to do weird things and take pictures of each other for fun.
If you came over my house to party, I wouldn't take pictures of you, man, Lorax. I would give you your privacy.
But so when you hand if you showed me something on your phone,
Epstein had a list of the most horrible people doing the most horrible things, and in a sense, he was able to keep them from doing worse things.
Terrence, every day, if you have something on your phone that you want to show someone, you're walking up to them and putting a camera in their face, and they're getting data points fed through your social ID, digital ID, being tagged to theirs, tracking their eye motions of whatever it is, and there's just an algorithm.
They see you, basically. They're watching me, watching you.
Yeah, but so you say you respect people's privacy, you wouldn't record me if I came into the, but like on a principle.
No. Like I wouldn't set up a whole operation to try to generate blackmail on you by putting you in compromising and out of context positions that I could later use to manipulate you. I wouldn't do that.
That's all. But do you think that
that implies that I have shame?
I think he
though,
did.
You know, in order to black.
I feel like wait, hold on. That's true. Also, having shame is one thing, but there are things that people don't need to have shame over, which is what the law is about. Which is why eventually they were able to turn this into like a human trafficking of children thing, because that's something that doesn't matter how progressive your ideology is, how progressive or how nuanced your sexuality is. No one can allow it. It's not something that even people have conversations about because it's endangering a child. It's not like your personal sexuality is acceptable. So
I heard this on the radio the other day.
Maybe that was a good.
They juxtaposed this. They said this guy, and they're trying to cast dirt on it. He had sexual assault allegations, and then there was an and allegations of crimes against children. And now the crimes against children could be stealing the kid's college fund. It could be like even if you get in a car accident, you rear-end someone and the child gets hurt and there's like an
why don't we get to see the good stuff? Sorry, Sparrow had a good question.
What you're trying to do though, if you're juxtaposing those two facts, is you're trying to make the guy sound like he committed sexual crimes against children, which is a very a very specific thing that you like crying wolf about it. Again, there's a lot of
for sure, but there's not as much evidence of that and of blackmail, like Sparrow says. How come there's no actual blackmail in the files that we've seen so far? I mean, a lot of the files are probably, we have to imagine, destroyed by multiple sides of government that had control over them that were trying to delete their implication. But that just says to me that he was probably recording everyone coming to his parties, and a lot of people that were into the sickest stuff, he was recording them doing that, and he was keeping that. And I wonder about that because there's so many people in politics that maybe he can stop them from doing worse things, or he control to some degree. I think that was the idea, is putting people that were very powerful in positions where they would reveal their own. It's not so much that it was taken out of context all the time. I think Chris was saying like these
Yeah, I
might
did
just be
say
out
that.
of context frames.
It's like, oh,
I mean, it could
showed him
be
spilling
that a lot
coffee
of
on
those things
coffin.
were.
Yeah.
So take it
But
out
I
of
mean,
context.
usually
You have a
something's
man in his
taken that
private
far out of
residence.
context.
You're saying you can't record the inside of your own private residence for security purposes if you have a family that you want to know, because you can monitor it remotely or not. The idea is, though, if you're trying to set it up as a super secure closed circuit type system, it's always going to be hackable. And so now anyone that is sophisticated enough to be a bad actor, they're also sophisticated enough to be able to hack into whatever best system it was you set up.
What about jerky? What about his jerky at the lab for analysis?
Who's ever heard of
What do
that?
you think
Isn't it
jerky
called
is?
long pig?
I think jerky is
Lots of
probably.
jerky references.
I feel like jerky might have
I've
to
never
do
heard
with
jerky
like
before.
with the cloning program more than cannibalism. A lot of people are acting like it's like human flesh. I don't really think that's what it is. I think it's more maybe sperm samples, right? Something for cloning, jerking, right?
So, okay.
I think we
We're all
got
talking about running out and stuff. So I don't know. Sorry, go ahead, Aiden. My bad.
something I noticed that I didn't think this up, but Matt Forney on Twitter did, is that he pointed out that a lot of the women, and then, Representative Luna also pointed this out, is that a lot of the people that, she didn't say it in this way, but
Anna
a
Pauline
lot of the
Luna.
people that worked for Jeffrey Epstein when they're underage may have been lying to him too, but they're also the 17-year-old stripper type. They liked working for him.
Yeah, they're from
They
Florida.
liked the power. They liked meeting supermodels. And, they, when they turn 20 or something, they may feel very differently about Jeffrey Epstein after that, or they want more attention, or it's hard because she points out that, and this kind of ludicrous thing is that once they turned 18, they're not victims, but they're predators that are helping him. And I'm like, that's what Luna said. She did a, announcement on that. And I think that kind of goes into the age problem of that. This is kind of, a lot of people who go to strip clubs will notice that sometimes girls will fake how old they are when they go work at a strip club. So, I mean, I think a lot of this is, a lot of it, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein is shady, but there's a lot of different, weird things about this going on. And you kind of see this with, the Bill Gates one is just Jeffrey Epstein was this the Tyler Durden type that just had a lot of fun.
If we said the word Iran as much as we said Epstein, we'd get flagged. So as long as we're talking about something that's acceptable, it's not really interesting.
People like that. We got.
It's part of a demoralization campaign where everyone's talking and thinking about the most sordid things in family, like over the dinner table, instead of talking about how we're about to go back to the moon for the first time, or anything relevant to life and goodness and wellness.
Coffee, Mr. Coffee machines, Keurig. What are some other advertisements that we could use to get our stream acceptable socially? Toaster ovens.
So Aiden, though, if you were in college, or let's say you were you were promising that you were identified in high school, because the Celtics recruited Rajon Rondo when he was 15. And so they're reaching out into the high schools for talent, whether it be for sports or education. And you have this opportunity for other people who may be a little more or less neurodivergent, but their social skills may be, there's only so much time when you're young and you're studying 18 subjects and AP this, AP that. And
whatever. Yeah.
You could slow down and develop social skills, but like, why bother? It's like you see plenty of people that seem to have succeeded without doing that.
No, I think a lot of high school kids are really antisocial and are just generally just butts. Like, I think that's just regardless of age.
But are they
it's just about
antisocial because they got
confidence.
their nose in the books and they're obsessed with like again what you described yourself as a Sigma grind set? Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a little bit of stigma of me making these videos. With,
Yeah,
like,
and that's the key to success is perseverance. There's bursts of genius, and it's about
yeah, I mean,
capturing
there's
lightning.
definitely a little bit of that. I think there's also just having a few other people edit shit for me. I think that would help. But
Well, as
there's a lot
Andreas
of
was, you just use AI, man. Just bounce your ideas off of a computer.
No,
the actual editing work it takes a little like tactile.
Oh, you guys aren't really.
I demand flesh and blood.
You guys aren't really in the trying to create a business with it, so it's not that good at that type of thing. You know, it's.
No, Andreas and Rafa are actually going to create, instead of them being my assistants, they're going to create 8, like an accountant assistant, and each one's an AI. And so instead of needing to find a coworker with a different personality, I can report to Andreas and Rafa, and they can adjust if it's not asking me the right questions or it's not,
Yes, an agent workflow.
And I can pick the attributes. I could, my accountant could be a lizard one day and a panda bear the next day, and it's just rendered into. I like talking to faces that talk back. I convinced myself that there's a human on the other end of all this, but.
Yeah. No, that actually is that's an interesting idea. I'll take that in.
And so as far as the visual aspect of it, I don't know, they're combining a bunch of, because the goal is to put the
I actually have a take on that. So one of the biggest problems with OpenClaw models specifically.
I mean, a lot of it is and I'll point this out, is just how much you can compute on how big of a budget you need. Like how quickly do you need it? How much of it? How accurate do you need?
Well, when you're building a franchise, even if it's like an ice cream place, you can spend $100,000 to get the model and the formula right, and you're running a place at like a loss for 3 years, and they're going, "How is this?" But as soon as you get the formula for one of them to work correctly for 6 months, but you had to figure out how to adapt the menu and the offerings and the online.
Yo, I got a question for Aiden.
Type A and B. That's type A and B. That's like there's a lot of algorithmic things. Facebook does that every day.
Yeah, Aiden, I got a question for you.
Of them. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, are you running? You do that a lot. I don't know what exactly you're saying.
Ask an Aiden.
There's a million little formulas to do that. You have like 1,000 startups that try to propose something new, and none of it's new.
Aiden, are you running OpenClaw on locally on your machine, or are you running through?
I don't use OpenClaw. I need to experiment with it a little bit.
So can I explain it a bit? Like OpenClaw is basically a gateway. It's a platform that lives locally on your computer. So you're giving a language model system-wide control, as if like whatever you could do on your computer, on your command prompts, the model will be able to act as an agent on your local system. So it could get around whatever, anything you could type, anything you could use a mouse for, it's going to be able to do it. Now, one of the biggest problems that I figured out was that these models, they can only read source code. So if you tell them, it's like, oh, look at this graphical user interface you made, like fix it, make it look less like garbage. They're going to have a lot of trouble with that because they could only see the quote, they can only see the code, like the JSON file or whatever. So what you do is you teach it to take a screenshot. If it has system-wide control over your machine, then every machine pretty much has a screenshot function. So you tell it, teach yourself to take screenshots and to analyze it from that visual representation instead of like looking at the fucking source code of what you're making and trying to guess what it looks like to the human eye. Just take a picture. This is why OpenClaw, I think, really is like that watershed moment of like, oh, fuck. Because now it's like people are running, basically the souls of the machines on their machine locally, and they just borrow the mind from like Gemini or Claude or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's cool and all. Like find out what's wrong with this, like all these things. People do that with Claude already.
Yeah.
So I really do need to study OpenClaw more. A lot of what I do, especially, is and when I think of like a vision, like if like OpenClaw wants to analyze the images I have, I would actually just use an open source model, like a Chinese, like the Qwen 3 model, version 3 VLM. And then I'll get insights from that, and then I'll work from there. But like a lot of what I'm doing is like really fucking large industrial shit. So if I
so you're gonna need
to create a show that had a budget of $500,000 or $1 million, yeah, I would be doing some fine tuning, but it would be very large. It's not
Okay,
like
so
something
but for when it comes to fine tuning, you don't do it yourself. So the smart way to do it is to use a free model like Claude or Gemini, whatever that's available on Web UI, and you tell it and you instruct it. It's like, make me a training module for my OpenClaw local bot that could train it to do these specific tasks that you're not just going to find on the internet, because everyone's computer networks and systems are configured differently.
No,
This
the
takes
thing is, like, I am going to be running it. I'm going to be like renting 8 H200s to do the fine tuning, and then I'm going to have a curated data set too. It's like,
duh.
I don't know
I have
what
no
type
idea,
of
yeah.
fine tuning. I think that's a little bit more of one shot.
I bet he's
maybe.
right though. Yeah.
But it's like, you know, when you do those like, you know, fall.ai, you know, training model, you know, those still like cost like $40 to $50 sometimes to do.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like,
you're not because
you know,
if
real
you
fine tuning is like it does cost a lot.
Well, you
Not
also-
a lot, but like it's not something that I would exactly say. So I mean, I may be bullshitting. There may be something really cool
Well, I
about it, but I
cracked
need to look into
open
it.
a cold one for my daily doom scroll shit. And another liberal killed by CBP in the middle of the street. Thank God I'm not a fruitcake or a color, that's for sure. 'Cause all these liberals getting fucked is what I voted for. You know I voted for this. It makes me sick to see men kiss them right. I voted for this. Stop staring at me when I pay.
Why do you have Nickelback like in your soul, Andrew? That's what I wonder.
Wait, did everyone see the two dudes making out in the Super Bowl halftime show?
Oh yeah,
No.
grinding up. For sure.
Honestly, I didn't know it was Super Bowl until the show
It
started.
was brave. It was brave.
Huh?
You know? It was brave. Actually, I don't know if they were kissing. They were grinding up on each
I
other.
have a good video for you, Exertus. I'll send it to you right now. 1 second.
All right.
I'm wondering if anyone who isn't a sociopath has asked AI what like the perfect government would look like.
Hey, like, Ricky Martin was part. At least he came out of the closet. And whether he's bisexual or not, again, the fact that there's 0 sports players
On
in
Grok,
NHL.
you're just going to get some edgelord
Come on.
dictatorship joke. On OpenAI, you'll just get hypothetically the best one is democracy. Please don't be. I don't want to be insensitive.
I feel like humanity looking at the best government
Zach.
for humans is different than for the world.
Is everyone dead? I can't hear anybody.
No, we're here. I think your
check.
audio must be broken. Yeah, you
Chickadee
might
check,
be,
Aiden.
Ricky Martin and Kid Rock are the same.
Oh my God. All right, here we go. So stop whining about the Super Bowl. Should we watch this?
I want to talk specifically about the political
thought it was
references.
good.
I'm sure that really got me. So starting off, we're in the sugarcane fields of Puerto Rico, just diving right into the historical context of colonialism in the Caribbean, the history of slavery in the Caribbean, the exploitation of our land and our natural resources for the economic gain of the empire. Now we're in New York City, Nueva York. And then Benito just waltzes up to go take a shot with who? Toñita. Who's Toñita? This is a real Puerto Rican woman who lives in Brooklyn and owns something called the Caribbean Social Club, which is one of the last standing Puerto Rican establishments in Williamsburg, which has been a hugely gentrified neighborhood of New York City, which was always traditionally Puerto Rican. She herself has almost been kicked out many times, but refuses to sell. She's an icon of fighting gentrification in Nueva York. Part of the show that hit us Boricuas the hardest. Ricky Martin.
Quieren quitarme el río y también la playa. Quieren el barrio mío y que abuelita se vaya. No suelte la bandera ni olvide el hilo.
I can't believe I'm forced to watch this shit. Like, I never watched it, and then now it's like, I thought I would never watch it, and then now I'm watching it.
Ricky Martin from Puerto Rico just sang a Bad Bunny song saying, I don't want to happen to us what happened to Hawaii. a blatant call for independence and sovereignty and decolonization of Puerto Rico. Then we go straight into this. Actually
Cutting the
simulated
power
the
lines?
problems with our power grid in
Or cutting
Puerto
the
Rico,
communication?
which is a
he was up on a
direct
platform, and
consequence
usually
of us
guys
being
have
a
to be tied
colony
in on a
and the
stage.
privatization of our
He was
power
like
grid by
15
the
feet in the air, and he no tie-in.
USA. Then Bad Bunny emerges from the fields carrying the Puerto Rican flag, but not just any Puerto Rican flag. This is the light blue Puerto Rican flag, which is the
Honestly, this is
original
kind of
colors.
corny, bro.
And this is the flag.
It is kind of weird. I mean, are they trying to say that they want to make? Because usually people want to make Puerto Rico a state, but this is saying they want to make Puerto Rico a separate nation. It's a free nation or an independent
Like
nation.
that they banned, and then we were
And why would you do that at the Super Bowl? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
only allowed to get
Corny
our
or not,
flag
it's really
back when they
interesting, Chris.
changed
Well,
it
you
from
could say
light blue.
it's like conservative approved. Like at least there's no like extreme copious amounts of sexual references and shit. Like that's what people really complain.
Yeah,
about.
this is
There was a
totally
lot.
different.
There was a lot of hip thrusting.
There was.
This is,
For
but
people
this is
watching
really-
on a
totally-
big screen. I mean,
Yeah,
Light
there were
blue.
gay dudes grinding up on each other, dudes spanking girls' asses.
I didn't
like,
see
yeah,
it.
full-
This just looks like corny theater.
Flag. This is
Now,
our
I heard the
original
criticism.
flag.
Well, I heard the
okay, so
criticism that it was who's talking? Someone go first.
Go ahead. No, you're good. You got it. You got it.
The criticism that it
You
sounded
changed
like
your outfit
mumble rap.
again. That's awesome.
Well, you know, again, I'm preparing a whole reveal here. Yeah, give me a second. But
You should
the guy-
like fly
it's
to see
that
me,
Chinese
and when
lady.
you go,
It'd be a layer by. Fine, okay. We'll start with
yeah,
this.
I want you to not bring a bag when you fly to see me, and wear all of your outfits like that. Just wear them all at the same time, so you
You've
don't
seen
even
that
need to-
YouTube channel where they're just like there's like 18 cameras. It's just trying on fashion all day. So what were we talking about though? Oh,
Well,
Bad
we're
Bunny.
2 hours deep, so we're
that
doing
it
some
sounded like
close-ups,
mumble
yeah.
rap. And so Josh Cedar, the guy who pretended, who's been on with Alex Stein a bunch of times and trolled the universe, but he said that he was with two people from kind of Mexican Spanish backgrounds, and they said that they couldn't understand any of the lyrics in the Bad Bunny song. And now, first of all, like Chinese, according to American, you could have two Chinese people in the same room, but one speaks Mandarin and the other one speaks Cantonese. And so, right, there you are with two people who claim they speak Chinese and they can't understand each other. So Spanish is also a very divergent language. And on the island of Puerto Rico, they tend to shorten words and they come up with abbreviations and they pronounce certain consonants differently depending on where in the sentence you say them. And so functionally, it's almost like the Puerto Rican dialect is the mumble rap version of English, or the equivalent thereof. But I hope people understand that about Spanish, is that just because it's like, oh, you're from Iran, oh, you're from Iran, oh, you guys must like each other. It's like, or like you speak the same language even, and they might be from two tribes that hate each other and actually don't speak the same dialect at all.
Yep, my high school Spanish teacher was Puerto Rican, so I learned the wrong Spanish to communicate with Mexicans. I only found out later.
Oh my god, way to get set up for failure. That's pretty good though. Oh man.
Well, give me a full screen. Give me you guys talk, but give me a full screen for the fashion.
All right. Well, we're gonna start doing some. Let's do some close-ups. So, Kurt, why don't you tell us something? Let's do some what are some final words here for the stream?
All right, I promise I will keep this brief. Hope you're all doing well. I hope that also that yoga poser also has matching briefs to go with every single layer that we're about to see.
This is a pretty
here.
good outfit. I really like this one a lot. This one's
I believe we've seen you and I have seen both of those outfits, and they're both quite lovely. I must say they are. They accentuate everything that they need to accentuate, and also we see there's also more layers to this psychedelic visual experience that we are seeing here. And we're probably going to get down to abs as well. And more. Where there
we got
is
to the
yet another
summer
yet
suit.
another layer, and in the back, that draws a lot of attention to the lower half of your body, and I kind of not gonna lie, it doesn't feel that bad. One could describe the feeling as increasingly positive as well, getting that attention to that lower area of our friend. Also, working that backpack as well. If you
all
guys,
eyes on me. This is the Bo Burnham sweatshirt.
that might be my favorite one. I like all the eyeballs on there. You might get some interesting looks when you go out onto the streets. Very reminiscent. There's lots of symbolism of eyes in video games like The Legend of Zelda, and also things like Yu-Gi-Oh, which I also play, not the modern game because I feel they do a very poor job of moderating the modern game. But retro formats can have a lot of fun to them, even though there's some points of misregulation that aren't all that fun. If you've seen a lot of the news this week, you'll know that there is politics, and politics exists, and you have the ability to ignore those politics. Of course, that might be the happiest life you can live if you ignore those politics. I happen to work for a small business, and in this small business, you can tell that maybe the wheels are coming off. I think it's a world that's becoming increasingly difficult for small businesses to operate in. So it kind of feels like this business.
Rick and Morty
might,
was predictive programming about brick and mortar and how it's going extinct. But anyways,
Brick and mortar, Rick and Morty, yeah.
Yes, that brick and mortar is going extinct. There are fewer people to fill the positions that we built the world to have, and AI cannot take them over. Who's going to take over the position of that Italian pizza grandma? You know, it's
like South Korea. It's like South Korea, where you have a jewelry shop or a pottery shop, and twice a year someone might walk by your shop, and there's someone who sits there 250 days a year who really actually runs the and just hopes that someone either in the dear leader's family will stop by or a tourist.
Exactly. They beg for the blessing of the powers that be, but the truth is that the world is running out of options for a lot of people. How many staff can we have? How many can they attract? Can they keep up with wages to actually apply free market principles to the labor market and not just commodities? But it turns out people are unwilling to change and unwilling to adapt. So that will be the death of many businesses in the future as they get swallowed up by the greater machine that we call capitalism. And of course, we all know where this is going. We have choices in the matter. Could we choose life affirmation? Can we choose life affirmation and continue to love each other, reproduce, be like Israel? What's amazing about Israel? Israel doesn't just have
chosen people.
An adequate birth replacement rate.
I want to real answer. Tell me the difference between the Old Testament God and the New Testament God. Aren't they the fucking same God? Just like Allah is the same God. But like people talk about the New Testament God. I understand the Old Testament God was like wrathful and vengeful, eye for an eye, and then became turn the other cheek or something.
There's a bigger difference between the Old Testament writers and the New Testament writers than there is between God, probably.
Israel is growing in their population. Yes, they are going beyond their birth replacement rate. They are a high energy society. Not just high energy, but they're also open and intuitive and inquisitive. They want to know things. Yes, and that is the key to world domination. But the thing is, you don't have to think about it as world domination. They are simply allowing the world to exist. If nobody else is having children, aren't they the ones that are essentially just choosing to die off themselves? That is the entire philosophy. So maybe world domination.
The 15th Bo Burnham reference. It's just that my stupid friends are having stupid children, and then my stupid friends we have to have a generation of smart, probably incubator babies, and then I don't know how to recreate the education system of the 90s though. That's the mystery. People are going to be autodidactic. They're going to be siloed off.
Lots of brick buildings with no windows. That is how we rebuild the 90s education system. We will rise. We will stand. We will continue, and we will glorify God and the human existence on top of that. If you guys are interested in international foods, particularly, I do like some international foods as well. I have not.
Dude,
had that
What are
many.
you going on about, motherfucker?
Yeah, seriously, man. Like, what the fuck is this?
Are you waiting? You're waiting for one of us to tell you to shut the fuck up, aren't you?
It's one of the most
Particularly
fictitious rants I've had on the show. I actually appreciated it.
Cool.
I like where it went. Well, okay. Well, Jordan, that meant it's your turn. So,
Exertus, great to see you again, guys. Great to see you. Yeah, it was a great chat. I don't really have much else to say. Check out the Divulgence podcast, obviously. Tomorrow we have Jake, the former Q Shaman, coming on. We also have Brad Binkley, Lindsay Sharman, and Jackson Laymeyer, he's the founder of Pastors for Trump,
Nice.
White House Faith Council key member. So I don't know what's going to go on there, but what happens. Yeah. So, yeah, Exertus, I'll reach out to you soon so we can chat, but peace and love to everyone else. Great to see you guys.
Bye, Jordan.
love you, bro.
See you, Alex.
Yeah.
Peace,
Vega,
peace.
You
Kurt,
got
love
a thing?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm sad that I missed out on a lot of. I feel like I missed the meat and potatoes.
No, you really didn't miss much, dude. I swear to God, you didn't miss much.
There was a lot of unhinged, dramatic.
No, within the first
passionate
5 minutes, Vega,
nothings.
I tried. I said, "What are we talking about today, gentlemen? Can we structure this? Do you want to go? I want to hear them talk for 5 minutes at a time."
Yes, because that's how
Kirk's
natural
like,
flowing
"Great talk."
conversations work. Exactly
It's
like
par for
that.
the
When
course.
two
It's par for
people
the-
just
that's
hang
why
out and have a
Kirk's
conversation, that's
rant
what we
was
do in the beginning of it. We say, how are we going to plan this conversation out?
Well,
Canadians using flight to cue each other to speak and stuff. It's pretty hilarious. They're so polite.
We're all just AI bots to each other. We say something, we should treat it as a prompt and then give out the long one-shot essay so they don't waste API tokens. That's how we should talk.
We're all victims of very separate and individualized design psyops to keep us at odds with each other. I recently learned that left-wing ideology itself is a psyop, and I think it's to justify the CIA budget as well as.
Sorry.
Makes sense. Right? The maths. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I don't know. The new world is upon us. I don't think there is any room for dishonesty and lies in the approaching realm that we will be experiencing, as all of these possibilities and probabilities and realities are kind of like collapsing into an inevitability that they have seen through Looking Glass. It's unavoidable. The only thing they can do is delay the outcome. So how do we nudge it along? I don't know. So many distracting things. I've been doing it through art and through doing my own little fashion shows. If you want to follow me at Blue Collar Goth Father on Instagram, I've been getting a lot of traction on there, even though I have more followers on TikTok. I would like to have more traction on TikTok because that's where I could make money, because Mark Zuckerberg doesn't want to give me any. So yeah, I've got
Have you heard of Depop before?
Yes, I have.
It's Etsy adjacent, and they sell like collections of clothing. And people, if they like you, like every year they'll get your summer collection or something, and they're buying, and they'll give away the extra pieces to their friends as like a
old work clothes on there, because like workwear is really trendy, and I wear my Carhartt until it's basically falling off of my body. So apparently for like really well worn Carhartt jackets, you get like $300-400.
Well, in the Kurt Cobain and the Nirvana song, something about like
that's the
he's
equivalent to a girl selling
likes
her
to
used
sing a song.
panties, Andrew.
He likes to sing along, but right now, some people wear Carhartts as a fashion statement, and some people wear them because of the utility. But
I did both. I manifest destinied myself into a blue collar job. I told Dad so much before I had children that they just like materialized into my life. Could I surrender the rest of my time to hear the final verse and chorus of I Voted for This? It's my favorite.
Let me get the last little bit on here.
See, I think children respect their fathers more when they're blue collar. You could be rich and white collar if you're never there, and you can't really fix anything. Again, you're just
It doesn't matter what job you have. If you're there, I think it matters.
Wait, sorry,
Yeah,
you got cut. What to say?
Oh, just nothing
no.
important.
My highest fulfillment is a stay-at-home dad. That's what I say, and people think it's like a joke.
Now I'm signing up to fight the queers and join on high society. Said there's 50,000 if I make some liberals die. Everybody looks so cool and tough, my heart is beating fast. Can't wait to fight beside these men and kiss, kick some liberal ass. You know I voted for this. Oh shit, I think they're shooting back. Damn right, I voted for this. Send back up, we're under attack.
That could have been Nickelback. It literally could have been.
But yeah, Nickelbacky. I did more like I think the prompt was like heavy country, blah blah blah. But Nickelback is like low key goated, even though
secretly. Yeah, everyone wants to hate them, but come on, they're decent human beings.
Andrew, let me give you some tips about making music like that. Don't prompt this shit yourself. Like what you got to do is you got to go to like another free language model and ask it to make a prompt for Suno. Because when you do it yourself, it's just going to come out like, whatever. But if you get the AI to speak to the AI, that is how you get the best results.
Yeah, like for instance, ask it about another song, like ask another language model to describe the instruments and year and studio and all of these weird, filler nouns about that recording, and then use that in your prompt for the song you want to make. And then you can basically clone a studio like very quickly with the descriptors.
Noted. Yeah, I've been trying to just like hack it with like, I don't know, just
someone did that to your music, Andreas, by the way.
You can tell
Dr. Brian Keating plays a little theme song at the beginning and interludes, and because I'm listening in the background and I'm like, oh, he must have hired Zertis to make that song. There's just something, I'm sure other people, it's a convergent sound. It's that happy-go-lucky kind of summer album that you made.
Oh yeah.
And again, it's meant to be an homage. Yeah,
hear it.
It's right. I'm going to be another person sending Andreas a link that he's not going to click on because again,
I click on your links sometimes.
It's a sync.
I clicked on Aiden's links today, at least live on the stream. I get a lot of
what
links.
I should do is put it in slides, like Anna Nicole Wordsmith did.
Do a slide?
She just like
that was pretty good.
Right.
That was good. I do like presentations. Okay, Chris, you survived that. I feel like this was all really a test for Chris. This was a rite of passage. It's like that scene in Ace Ventura when Nature Calls where they make them stand on the stick for 3 days while Ace Ventura just shoots spitwads at him. And that's how you become a man. And so, Chris, you are not only a man, you are the man. But yeah,
dude, I'm used to way harder shit. Remember my format? It's actually me being in the same room with the fucking person. So when I get like, an out there type person, I can't just shut the fucking screen off. Like I'm still stuck with them. So if I could handle that, this shit is like a cakewalk anytime, any given fucking day. Doesn't matter.
You broadcasted through the legalization in New York. You were a podcaster who sat and broadcasted to the world that you were doing something. Oh, look, yeah, if this is a problem to smoke on camera and talk to my friends, then like I'm willing to deal with the consequences of a society that somehow is going to target me as an individual who's doing nothing wrong other than
that pinball was illegal in New York and people played pinball anyway.
Well, that's another thing. Like you guys talked about weed all episode, and I was thinking like as a New Yorker, we see weed kind of differently. Like, the stereotype where like you smoke weed and you're lazy. For us, it's different. It's like, yo, I got to do my fucking 12-hour shift. Let me just smoke this blunt real quick, and then I'll have another blunt at lunchtime. It's just for me, it like helps the time pass by quicker,
Right. Yeah, it's different for sure. Well,
yeah, but,
I think the main thing is people should be careful. And if you spend enough time away from drugs, you'll find it's like amazing that you were able to function on them at all. Like they're not, it's weird because you're like, wow.
Fine. It's like, Aiden, I'm not trying to convince you that weed's good and here, try it. I can't reach through the screen. But if we sit down and take an ACT test and a series of IQ tests and I perform better when I'm baked out of my fucking board. Are you going to admit that, like me being sober, I might actually perform worse? So now, is it performance enhancing substance? Is that the problem?
The Scientology Center on Hollywood Boulevard would give you an IQ test, and I would always go in there more and more like progressively baked to take the free IQ test, and each time, a couple points.
Did better.
Yep. Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah,
Just
closing
tell-
statement, by the way.
Yeah.
I just want to bounce off.
Oh my God, that was too good. You have to repeat yourself. That was embarrassing.
Wait, me? Oh yeah, to
Yeah.
bounce off what Mythos said. He said weak men create hard times, and like I think I read somewhere recently, hard times create nicotine guys. Nicotine guys create good times. Good times create weed guys. Weed guys create hard times, and then it just repeats. I thought that was pretty funny because like I'm both a weed guy and a nicotine guy.
How about badass motherfuckers smoke cigars and take over island nations from the bottom up? How about that? And then travel throughout Africa and South and Central America, fomenting bottom up revolutions where they redistribute the wealth out of the hands of a bunch of rich, selfish motherfuckers who nationalized went to war, sent poor people to war to defend their decision to nationalize certain things, so that a few people, and then somehow again, instead of just leaving society in shambles, doing it in such a way that when Fidel was trying to set up the new government in Cuba, he said, I need an economista, because he needed an economist. And Che Guevara was a doctor. He was a very educated man. And he said he needed a communista. He said, see, what do you mean you need a communist? I saw it. But then he spent 7 years studying economics, and so he could figure out how to put countries back together, and not just, because taking them apart is easy, you know?
Right on.
Nicotine guy shit.
Yeah. All right. Everybody be grateful for each other. Be grateful for what we have. I'm glad we were here. It's good to see you guys. We're going to do it again. It's going to be quality assured. Take care.
Advanced philosophy memes. We make good memes. Advanced philosophy memes. Base fucking memes.